last night. Wow. Welcome in, Ben and Woods. That hurt, by the way. Welcome in, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Yeah, that didn't feel great. I'm gonna head out. Love you guys. Have a great show.
Good day.
You
Good
guys
day.
get it done. Good to be here with you on a Wednesday morning. I think we're all a little bit worse for wear. Games like that certainly take minutes and seconds off your life. But we are here. We made it in. And I'd say, scale of 1 to 10, we're probably feeling at about a 6 today. But those are always the best shows when you really don't have much of a clue what's going on. And you're just ready to come in and have fun with your friends. That's what we're going to do today. I'm Woodsy. To my right is Italian Paul, Frank Marchese. And he's in for Paulie, who is in Las Vegas. Looks like Paulie is having a fantastic time. Frankie, how are you, buddy?
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And quite a game last night.
Quite the game last night. Hope you didn't turn it off after the Padres fell behind 6-0 in the top of the first inning. I know you didn't turn it off because I could tell. I could see that you were there. Quite apparent where Woods was watching the game last night. Did anybody else out there happen to catch the Stephen Woods show? You were like in the right-handed batter's box.
I know. Now, in my defense, our friends Patrick and Angie Daly, they have these seats down in the home plate club, and Hannah and I have been invited to sit there a few times. Probably a third time we've been there. And any time he offers, you jump. You're like, my kid's graduating? Sorry, buddy. Sitter's going to be there for you. You have a great time. Let me know how it goes. Somebody get video. You go. You jump at those seats. Any chance. I can't even impart to you how special it is to sit down there. Every fan should have a chance once in their life to sit down there where you can hear everything. You can see the movement on a pitch or the lack of movement on certain pitches. You can the throw from Fernando to home plate when he almost piped that dude at home plate. The speed of baseball. It doesn't translate to television. It just doesn't. And when you're sitting where you are down there, you're like, oh my God. I mean, you hear grunts, you hear, nah, it's down. I mean, you hear everything. It was incredible. So you jump at the opportunity. And so we did. We had a sitter for the kids last night. And normally, though, their seats are, if you're looking at the screen, they're normally to the right. So you're 5 feet from the on-deck batter. And you can be like, hey, Jesus Sanchez, your faucet's running or whatever. Your refrigerator's running. You better go turn it off. You can literally talk to them. And so I wasn't expecting to be in full shot. Otherwise, I'm not an idiot. I would have worn the biggest Ben and Wood shirt you could have ever imagined. I'm not a moron. I was going to promote the show. And when we got there, I go, where are we going? And he's like, oh, I did a ticket exchange for these. I gave 2 to charity. And then all this story. I go, so wait, we're here? And he goes, yeah. And I go, oh, no. Texting somebody. Sure, I go, this is insane. And my buddy goes, your Twitter timeline's about to get really annoying. And I go, oh, God, I didn't think of that. And let me tell you, it was the most stressed I've ever been watching a game because all it was like, what do they call it in college when you have to, I imagine it was like giving a dissertation. And then there's like professors that are listening to you and they're grading you the whole time.
Like a pan, you're going in front of a panel,
yeah,
like the academic panel.
So I was going, It was like being in front of a panel last night. And then you become acutely aware of how many people are watching your every move. And I mean every move.
You can't
pick your nose.
Pick your nose under any circumstances.
I itched a little bit. Carlos says, how many DMs you get? On Instagram, I had 18 DMs when I got home. I looked at that. My Twitter timeline was basically a bunch of people sitting around with a red pen going, all right, now he's eating peanuts. I saw peanuts. What's he shoveling in now? Is that Cracker Jacks? I think it's Cracker Jacks. So I tweeted immediately. I go, I feel very self-conscious about these nachos because I got some nachos to start. And I had one in the first, and then I like put them down. I had three chips, 3 total. And I just put them on the ground. I go, so I would run down to the other area in between innings. Then you realize This goes fast. I mean, it goes fast. They're right back out there on the bump. Games are moving these days. So we'd run down, like get a slider or something and then run back.
Eat it there so you didn't have to eat it in front of everybody.
Correct. It was horrible. It was awesome. But the grading of every move I made was horrible.
I'm curious, and maybe the chat can weigh in on our YouTube stream. You can watch this program on YouTube, or you can stream us on our Odyssey app, all the Spotify channels, Apple Music, wherever. How many people watch the game and look for people like behind home plate that they recognize?
I never do.
I never really did, but now that HD is so good and they have the cameras that are just as focused on the fans in the stands as they are on the players, I occasionally say, "Oh, that's Brian Dutcher. Oh, that's you know,
Eric
Weddle. I know who that is." And Eric Weddle was there last night.
Eric Weddle was there. He's a handsome dude, man.
Donnie Edwards was there last night.
Donnie Edwards sat right behind us, and then there was a boxer that sat right behind me. And some people said, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Munghia. Jaime. I don't know. You got to get a picture with him. He's incredible. I'm like, I don't know who he is, so I'm not going to ask him for a picture. So look, the view, the vantage point, it was truly amazing. Now I was staring into the umpire's butt the whole night. That was my view. So I'd have to move right, I'd have to move left to get find the crack to see it. But you could see and hear everything. But yeah, it was crazy. Schultz Creek says, I saw you staring down at your phone. So the other part of it was this. Not only was I answering messages, I was trying to get Jake Peavy on the show today. So I was working whilst I was watching the game, which is what I do from home anyway. I'm always looking for content, looking for what we're going to talk about during the game. That's kind of standard whether I'm at home in bed or second row. So I was working a lot on my phone too, and then, getting graded the whole time was almost excruciating after a while, and so, but those seats are ungodly. Like you just can't even imagine how cool it is to be down there to hear. I mean, you could hear Max Myers, you could hear his fastball from where I was sitting, just
cutting through the air.
Just when Manny hit that ball to dead center. I go, oh my God. I mean, just the sound, Jackson's home run. I mean, it's just, I really wish every fan could experience it once in their life. It's stupid. It's stupid. And it gives you, again, not that I don't have a pretty healthy respect for what these guys are able to do. It doubles it. When you're down there watching even their warm-up pitches and Max Myers throwing 97, like, how does anyone foul this off? Like, how does it, not only like getting good wood on it, how do you square that up? How do you time that out? The newfound appreciation that you have when you sit down there is staggering. I think if I sat down there for 81 home games, I don't think I'd ever say anything critical about the team ever. I'd be like, hey, it's really hard. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's almost impossible. And it is. It really is. The chances of squaring one of those balls up is minuscule. And but it was a really fun night other than, being hawk-eyed the whole time. It was like having your parents in there. I mean, like just watching everything you do. So that wasn't ideal, but it was pretty fun. Some other observations. There's a lot of casual fans out there, and it's almost excruciating. There was the guy in front of us. I don't know who he was. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. We have Toddy on first and somebody else on second. Obviously, you're not going to hold a guy on first base with a runner on second. Bo knows this. He's 7. He's like, look at it, not even holding him on. And I'm like, oh, and I start rocking back and forth because I'm, I don't want to be a know-it-all, but I'm starting to shake. And he's telling his wife, look at this. Well, look, these Marlins are so dumb. They're not even, look at the lead he's getting, not even holding him on at first. And I'm starting to sweat and I'm starting to shake. And Hannah's looking at me like, don't do it. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything. And then you got former Charger great Donnie Edwards was behind us. Nice guy. Met his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And at one point, there was a throw from right field to third base. And it came in on a hop. Manny grabbed it, throws the tag.
I remember the play. Yep. Didn't quite get it down in time, but
Donnie goes, got to tag him lower than that. What's he doing tagging him up so high? And I almost turned around like, Aren't you a professional athlete? What if Manny was on the sidelines be like, your form's all wrong, bro. I don't know. Like, you know how hard this is. You saw that. Like, there wasn't.
You use your legs to tackle, Donnie.
Dude, it was like,
you gotta get low and use your legs.
I'm sitting here watching going, are we doing this right now? So I had to put a cork in it, most of the time. But it's just it's an enlightening, eye-opening experience when you sit next to the baseball fan that thinks he knows everything, but literally has no idea. Look, I'm not even holding them on. Like, all right. I wanted to lean over and go, hey, in this situation with 2 outs and the runner in front of you, there's nowhere he can go. There's no way you really don't even need to keep him close at this point. You might cut behind him every now and then, maybe get the back pick from the catcher, but you're not going to hold a guy on with a runner in front of him. That's, the Encinitas Little League Woodpeckers know this rule, sir. But other than that, it was fantastic. Now, again, let me address the elephant in the room. I did leave early. I left after the 8th inning with a 2-run lead. Jackson Merrill's home run is really what solidified it. And I could lie to you guys and say, well, the people that we came with, that's when they left, which would be true. But that's not why we left. We left because we had a babysitter, and I do a morning radio show, and we had a 30-minute drive home. And I looked around, I went, there are 40,000 people here. And I'll tell you, we weren't the only ones. People started to stream out with a 2-run lead. I go, I don't care. I got to go home. So I was getting dragged for that.
I'm impressed you stayed through 8 innings. Honestly,
that's what I would like the credit for.
That's a pretty good stint for the Woods plan.
It's massive. It's massive. So, but the views are insane. Yeah, somebody said I was chewing a stick. I was chewing a straw. I do that all the time. I get very nervous watching.
You should
games.
See the pens in here. They are completely eaten. He just chews and chews and chews.
Yeah, Schultz Creek says was eating a hot dog completely out of the equation. 100%. You think I'm going to give you guys that ammo? Like I said, I had three chips of a batch of delicious nachos. I couldn't even eat them because of you monsters. You absolute monsters. Let me live. Why do you think in 5 years I want to retire and never be heard from again? Because I get red penned when I go to a baseball game. It was horrible, but it was also incredible.
Well, I didn't see you do anything untoward or embarrassing while I was at least watching, but I'm not Hawkeyeing you. I'm watching the game.
Yeah, you're watching the game, as you should have been. I'm nobody special. Just watch the game. Leave me be. But it was pretty stressful. It's pretty stressful, actually.
I would think so.
With that said, forget about the being hawk-eyed and stuff like that. Would you rather sit behind home plate or would you rather sit up high where you could see everything?
Obviously you're going to get different vantage points. Like, there's no denying. If you sit in the first row of the 300 section and you're looking down like a bird on that field, that is a kick-ass view. It's a kick-ass view. If you sit in the second level, there's not a bad seat in Petco Park in the second level. There's just not. Way down the lines can get a little bit difficult on the lower level, a little bit difficult to see sometimes. But honestly, sitting behind home plate, Frankie, it was like, this painting looks pretty cool in black and white. Throw some color on it, and you're like, whoa, like this is unbelievable. The only negative about it, other than the red pens, was I was staring at the umpire's back. So it wasn't a completely clear view, but on a play at the plate, on a grounder, like Ben said, man, first inning, Kolik's out there throwing. And I'm like, oh, good. He got the ground ball he needed. I go, I wasn't thinking that. I could see exactly where those balls were going. That view, looking at the dime, as soon as he hit it, like, that's a knock. That's a knock. That's not.
I watch it on TV every time he gave up a hard grounder. I go, there's the double play to end the inning, and then no, it's in the hole again.
In the hole again.
Oh, there's the inning ender. No,
there's no
defender there.
There's absolutely no mistaking it at all when you're sitting down there. But it was incredible. I mean, the crowd was great. As it usually is at Petco Park. The game itself was staggering. And I'll say this, I wasn't happy about sitting down in those seats and watching a 6-run top of the first. I was not happy about it at all. Not even
you almost feel as though you got cheated. Like,
I
get to sit in these seats one time, maybe all year long.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get, this is the game that I ended up with, because a lot of times you go down 6-0 in the top of the first. It's a throwaway night.
Yeah, it's a punt night,
It's, bring in the back of the bullpen. Let's just come back tomorrow and win the series.
Yeah.
And that's not Mike Schilt baseball, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't punt on games unless it's the absolute, desperation when we saw Tyler Wade in pitching and they're down late. But they don't give up, and they certainly didn't give up last night.
They did not. And I did have the feeling, though, as soon as Toddy hit the home run, I go, oh, yeah, we'll be fine. We're going to be fine. I was with my buddy, with Patrick, and I go, they're gonna make this a game. There's no question. I said, the only thing is if you're Mike Schilt, what do? Right? And the guy in front of me said, you got to get this guy out of there. And in my mind, I go, no, you got to leave Kolek in, period. Like, you cannot yank Kolek after the first and be like, all right, we're going to go, use 8 guys to cover the next. No, you got to live to fight another day against Sandy Alcantara today.
Came close with the pitch count rising. Yeah. Like, for Kolek's arm health, they had to think of, they were thinking about it. Omar Cruz was up in the bullpen. I don't know if you could see it from where you were, but Omar Cruz was up, and if he didn't get those last couple of outs, they might have had to make a change, simply just to not let him throw 50 pitches in an inning, knowing they're going to need him later in the season. They can't do that to his arm. Yeah. So those last 2 outs to get out of the first inning were huge. And, Stephen Kolek's performance, and we will talk about it this morning, was absolutely one of the grittiest, guttiest pitching performances you're going to see.
No question.
We thought Randy Vasquez the other day, when he gave up 3 in the first 2 innings, was pretty gutty to pitch into the 7th. What Stephen Kolek did yesterday, and the guy, very humble, he said, oh, yeah, I didn't deserve a win. I don't know that anyone's ever deserved to win more than Stephen Kolek did last night with what he did. He not only saved that game, he saved probably today's game as well to give the Padres a chance, because if they had to go with all of their 9 innings of bullpen, they're in deep straits for, today's game with Kyle Hart coming up to make the start. Now they've got the back end healthy. Kyle Hart just keeps them in the game. They've got a chance to go for the sweep today.
Yeah, man. It honestly, the only comparison I can make in our lives, it would be like if we went out on a Sunday night and just got hammered. And I mean, just wrecked. You're done for the week. It's going to take me till Thursday to feel semi-normal again. And with Kolek being able to give you a little bit of length and girth, by the way, last night, it was outstanding. Yeah, the top of the first sucked. There's no question. Everything was hanging. Leaving pitches out over the plate. They were hammering him. These were not seeing eye singles. He was bad in the first, but to be able to go in and just go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 until the next man came up, the ovation he got was pretty special when he walked off the field last night. And you can't say enough good things about that. Yeah, you'd love to erase that 6-run top of the first. You have a hell of an outing, sir. But it happened, and the resiliency he showed to get through it was masterful. Really, really great.
A lot of Padres talk coming up on the program today. We will set the menu for you. Quick check of traffic. Don't go away. Bennett Woods still here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Good morning. Off to a nice quiet start on our roads. We're not showing any trouble spots at all coming down from the North County. East County ride checks out. That includes westbound 52 heading out of Santee, North 5, North 805 in great shape out of the South Bay. And the bridge not looking too bad heading over to Coronado. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Tier 1s, you're usually very locked in all 4 hours. Just make sure this first hour, next 60 minutes, you do not go anywhere, because obviously, Padres wrap-up is going to be a good one as we talk more about the come-from-behind 8-6 win over the Marlins. But as Woods mentioned, he was working hard, being our producer for the evening as he set up. Jake Peavy is going to join us on a Big League Wednesday at 7 o'clock, a great Big League Wednesday guest. And Jake's going to check in, covering all of baseball, obviously, but also a Padres ambassador now, and see how he thinks, the Padres are faring here now. We've hit the Memorial Day milestone of the season, where you can start looking at the standings and make some bigger picture judgments on a team after 2 months of the year.
And I got to tell you, I never felt more like a producer. I felt like I felt like I wouldn't take no for an answer. Like Peavy, so I got it all set up, and I texted him, hey, we got, would love to have you on tomorrow, talk some ball. What time works for you? He goes, hey, at 8:30, text me. Sorry, just getting done here in Atlanta, flying out at 10:50 Eastern. So anytime before that works. I'll have phone on me. If it doesn't work tomorrow, I'm at the network rest of the week. Make any other day, no problem. Hope you and the fam are well and kicking ass. I said, all right, great. Let's do 7 a.m. my time. And I go, sure, 10 to 12 minutes. He goes, all right, well, I'll be at the airport, but we'll find a quiet spot. I said, sounds good. I was not going to let Peavy off the hook. And we'll have him this morning, again, from the airport in Atlanta. Sure, it's going to be loud and busy, but he said he'll find a quiet spot. And man, I love that guy. I love that guy. He's got such good insight. And I want to ask him about, like you said, the fence post of Memorial Day.
Yeah, we'll chat with Jake Peavy, and then we'll get to our regular features like Don't Do This and Take on Woods. I want to have our own conversation about the Memorial Day milepost as well.
Sure.
Looking at the playoff contenders in the NL, some teams are having trouble getting it going. Like the Arizona Diamondbacks, who I keep thinking
don't even bring it up.
They should be coming, but they can't even get to 500 right now, which is very odd to me. Are the Giants? Do they have staying power in the NL West, or are they going to fall back? What's it going to look like as we get deeper into the summer? Take a look at the NL playoff contenders and pretenders coming up in the second half of the program. Frankie's going to have a Rindle report, an Italian Paul Rindle report in our 9 o'clock hour with some headlines as well. So should be a fairly decent show on a Wednesday. Looking forward, though, to our Padres wrap up and get all the highlights from Scan and Tony as the Padres rallied from a 6-0 first inning deficit. I mean, there are a lot of milestones from that game last night. You don't see that very often in Major League Baseball. We will talk all about it coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Ben Woods on a Wednesday morning, a Big League Wednesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods and I want to tell you about trustandwill.com. So over the holidays, this was a few months ago, they came to us and said, hey, new advertiser at the station. Do you guys have your wills and trusts already set up? Guess what our answer was?
Nope.
No,
both
we don't.
Embarrassingly go, no, we don't, which is,
I mean, how important is it? Like,
we got 4 kids between us, you know what I mean? And we were like, no, we don't have any wills or trusts set up. I really felt like a bum. I really did. I felt like a loser.
All right, so how difficult is this going to be to set up?
Right.
And they go, it's easy. And they were right. We went to the website, filled out, answered a series of questions. Probably took me about 20 minutes or so. At the end of the process, you get real legal documents shipped to you that you can then put away in a filing cabinet or a safe or wherever you want to keep your important documents. And then you don't have to worry about it. You've got the peace of mind knowing that you've set up a trust or a will that takes care of your family in the event of your untimely demise.
Just go to trustandwill.com, use the code FAN when you check out FAN. You'll get 20% off plus free shipping of your estate documents. It's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
You. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jay Doe. Who said, what did he say? I just realized the guy in the middle, who in our YouTube stream would be me.
Yeah.
Has hair plugs.
It's so obvious, he said. I said, he doesn't have hair plugs.
I don't have hair plugs. This is my natural hair. Is it now slightly thinning, maybe?
Yeah,
now
you're almost 50.
Getting to my 50s. Yes, that's why I have started with the Rogaine treatments to make sure I don't lose any more.
How's that going?
I think it's thickened up a little bit.
Save that.
We'll get an update on. Got to go back to my doctor next month. And we'll get an update on how it's going. But hopefully, I get the thickening and not going to lose any up there. And it's not colored either.
No, that's
the hair. I do not do any hair coloring. That's the one that really surprises me.
When I met you, I was like, oh, this dude colors his hair straight up. This is, hey, how you doing? Just for men? Just for Ben?
Not.
I was like, I'm Woodsy. Nice to meet you. Just for Ben.
That is one that even my colleagues at Channel 10 all assume that I dye my hair to keep it's dark brown color, but I have never once put any hair dye on my head.
I am turning into Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos with the silver on the
side.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. Which, by the way,
Not bad.
Yes. Like if I have to look like anybody when I get older, I want to look like Paulie Walnuts. No question. Hey, Woodsy, who on The Sopranos would you want to look like? Paulie. No question. So I saw it coming in. I was like, oh man, I'm getting gray. And I was like, if I just have these wings for the rest of my life, I'm good. Like I think it looks badass, to be honest. So yeah, you don't even have any salt in that pepper, dude. It's straight pepper.
I've been lucky so far on the hair front. So
yeah.
Yes, J-Doe, this is not.
Also, J-Doe, that's so plug. Mean. Like to just come on and be
it's fairly mean, isn't it?
It's pretty mean.
I mean, we're here. We're exposing ourselves every morning to the audience and laying ourselves fairly honest and bare. Well, I would tell you if I was getting hair plugs, and I mean you'd make me tell everybody.
We'd make a great bit out of it.
We'd have giant segments about it, updates. Every single day. How's the hair plugs?
How's your plugs? There's no doubt. So listen, we would wear it. Dominic had a great idea, and I didn't think of this. He goes, bro, you should have just leaned into your seats last night and eaten everything you could find. It just been messy, just covered in mustard and nacho cheese and meat and all kinds of stuff.
Just a free for all.
So it was kind of disappointing that I really couldn't cut loose. It was like being the DD at an all you can drink wedding. Everyone's shot, and I'm just there like I gotta drive. It's fine. Like so, I didn't really get to eat all the things I wanted to eat. Now I will be honest with you guys. They did have down in the area
Home Plate
Club. They did have the banana pudding. It's the banana bread pudding. If you put me in those old timey bathtubs, I think you have one in your home with the claw tub. Yeah. If you filled one with that banana pudding and slid me into it, I could eat my way out of it, and I wouldn't even think twice. It's maybe the best thing that I've ever eaten in my whole life. It's my favorite dessert, bar none. Woodsy, Death Row. What dessert?
Before they added it to Petco Park, you were already a banana pudding fan.
But this is different. This is banana bread pudding. And they didn't have it in the big boats or the helmets. They just had them in the little cookie foils, basically. So I would go down there to go to the bathroom and be like, I'll just grab it. And just one bite, just like a shot of banana pudding. Bro, by
the end of the night, you had at least a full portion, if not more.
No, I don't think that much because they're small. They were really small. Yeah. But I'm telling you guys, man, the next time you go to Petco Park, you have to seek it out. I think it's at Seaside Market. They sell out real quick. It's worth getting down there hour and a half before the game just to
start with dessert and then worry about the rest of your food later. Bro, just make sure you get the pudding.
I'm telling you. If Padres brass and marketing are listening, let's do a stunt. Fill a bathtub with banana pudding and see if I can eat my way through it. I will sign up for it today. Today, it is that good. So, yes, great night, great night, and capped off by one of the best wins I've seen. And I get it; it's the Marlins, but you still got to take advantage of those mistakes and all that, and it was awesome to be a part of.
Just quickly, now Frankie's filling in for Paulie as we're training Frankie on the ways of the morning show. This is where you'd find the Larry King drop.
Yeah,
where
you'd say, "How did you gain all the weight?"
How did you gain all the weight?
Yeah,
that's where Paulie would just come in with the little drop just to add to Woods' story about the banana pudding.
But I think
how did you gain all the weight?
There it is. I ate banana pudding out of a bathtub. I ate a whole bathtub full of banana pudding. So yeah, you got to find a way down there. Like if I could find a trough of it, I would sell it on the side, like to people, because it's worth little baggies of it because it's that good.
They don't have it as one of the vendors doesn't walk around with it in the park. You can only get it at a couple of secret locations like Seaside Market.
Eric Grupner, if you're listening, you could make $1 billion. $1 billion. Like, you want players? Sell more banana pudding. Make more banana pudding. Sell more banana pudding. You could get.
How's your roster financed?
What do you want?
With banana pudding.
You want Kyle Tucker next year? It's done. It's done. It's that good, dude. I'm telling you. You can't oversell it. It's unbelievable. It's truly, truly amazing. They've really knocked it out of the park with that.
All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll come back with our Padres wrap up. Padres have won 4 of their last 5, but none like last night's 6-0 come from behind victory. We'll get to that coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Pretty quiet on the roads right now, guys. Just watch out for a stalled car in the center divide, northbound 5, right at the 805 merge. Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurants protein bowls are here for a limited time, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love. Just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep.
Here's the designated hitter, Liam Hicks. First pitch swinging, base hit through the left side. Another run is going to score. Wagman crosses the plate. Marlins up 2-0. Runner goes again. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Norby is going to score. It is now 5-0 Marlins. 1-1 to Fernando. Fly ball to right field, heading towards the corner, racing over is Sanchez. This one is going to be gone. Home run for Fernando. Right down the right field line, just inside the foul pole. And right away, the Padres answer. They now trail 6-1. Here's Tyler Wade. First and second, one out, second inning. First pitch swing, ground ball to left, diving play, but it's off the glove of Simone. They're going to send Xander Bogaerts, and the Padres now trail 6-2. Leaper's going to hold up Jake Cronenworth, who was thinking about trying to score. The throw goes home. It gets away from the catcher. Now Jake's going to try to come, and he's going to score. Padres get 2 runs. Runner goes. The pitch is swung out. Ground ball up the middle. Fielded by the second baseman, but he misses it. It's going to go under his glove. Manny is going to score. Jackson Merrill is heading over to third base. The Padres now trail 6-4. 1-1 to Rise. Fly ball left field. This one may fall in, and it will. Base hit for Luis Rise. Tyler Wade is going to score from third, and the Padres have tied this ball game up 6-6 in the fourth. 1 to Rise. Line drive up the middle for a base hit. Jake Cronenworth is rounding third. He's heading home. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Padres lead 7-6. Luis Rise coming through once again. The 3-2 again to Jackson. Swung on high fly ball to deep right field. This one is going to be gone into the seats. Home run for Jackson Merrill, his 5th of the season. That gives the Padres an 8-6 lead here in the 8th. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. Padres win 8-6.
So that's the one thing, we're built. Everybody's got their own theory of how they're built. We're built, and everybody, thinks their theory is the best, right? But I really feel comfortable and confident, and our output has validated that. And that is like we're a complete offense. It really is an offensive machine that. You look at it, it's just well played in all phases. We're going to get the defense here in a minute. There's a lot of positive things to unpack that I want to make sure I get out there. But, the offense was relentless. I love Toddy, right, immediately answering back. Great approach. A couple times a night. Got a ball out of the ballpark. Next thing you know, boom, we're right back at it. Louis, fantastic other way. Just use the whole field. And, Bodie again, continues to take good at bats. Now he found some grass because he's hit some balls at people, even that hard ball to right center. Crony, terrific at bats. And, Wadey does his part and chips in and helps us out win a game. But it's coupled with the base running, right? Manny, big tag, gets to third. Louis, first and second, gets to second. Crony, head up, ball kicks away, scores. So that's why, listen, this game is going to be so challenging, but we consistently put our best foot forward offensively.
Man, the offense was great, and you can't win that game, Benny, if you don't come back and score those runs. You got a lot of help from the Marlins. But my God, the defense was staggeringly great. Manny Machado's play down the line. Again, he's got 8 errors this season. Nobody makes that play. Nobody makes that play in that throw. Perfect long hop to Luis Rise, who was picking. He was a picking machine last night. Xander made a couple of spectacular plays to his right, his backhand. And if it wasn't for a real short hop would have been a spectacular play, but Luis picked everything. The double play,
really
Luis Arise.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I watched it.
Needed the replay to get the double play, but it was an outstanding play on both ends by Arise and Jake Cronenworth to get that double play. And that was important to keep them off the board after the 6.
No doubt.
You really knew you couldn't give up any more runs if you really wanted a chance to win that game.
Let me tell you, the Marlins had some loud outs, and I mean some really loud outs after that first inning. There were some balls that were hit that I went, July, that may be gone. I mean, it chased Jackson back to the wall a couple times, Toddy back to the wall a couple of times. I can't say enough good things. And again, from my vantage point, watching the play down the line that Manny made, it's absurd. It's absurd. And Luis Arise, coming through last night with the glove too. It was awesome. It was really, really cool. And, it was one of those games where so much happened. I was driving in this morning and I felt a little overwhelmed about all the different things that I saw last night. But, obviously it starts and stops with Stephen Kolek being able to hang some zeros after a really, really nasty first inning.
You said during foreplay that you thought the Padres would get back into the game.
I thought we may lose like 7-4, but 6 runs is tough to overcome. But man, when they started adding on, when it got to about 6-4, and every inning I'd look at Patrick and go, oh my God, Kolek's back out there. And he's like, look at his pitch count. It's nothing right now.
It's funny because I was watching the first inning with my parents, and when they fell behind 6-0, everyone has that saying, oh, not a night like this. And I said, I don't know if they're going to win, but they need a game like this where the offense absolutely has to carry them.
Has to.
It has been so long since the offense has really lifted them to a win. Yeah. And now they have no choice. I was almost like, good. You're down 6-0. You have to go out and score some runs.
Backs to the wall. Yeah.
And maybe it'll happen and maybe it won't. But this is kind of the kick in the butt I thought that the Padres offense might need. Like, you're not going to win this game 3-2. Right. You know this right away. You never want to give up 6 runs in the first inning, but you now have 9 innings and you have a target score. Essentially, we know we probably need to get to 8 or 9 to win this game. You can do that. They've scored 8 or 9 plenty of times early in the season. It's just been weeks since they've been able to, but now you've got that target score right away. Like, you're not playing for a run. You're not playing for, you sacrifice a guy over.
Yeah.
You got to score, 8. And they did. They went out and scored 8 runs, and they got most of them back in, I think in each of the first 5 innings they scored, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then they were up 7-6, and then they added on the Jackson Merrill home run. That's impressive when you have to do it and you go out and do it. And I think it's something that the Padres offense badly needed. Now, does this all happen without Ronnie Simone, as Bob Scanlon called him? I think Jesse was calling him Ronnie Simon. I'm not sure how he pronounces it, but the 4 errors committed by the Marlins second baseman in that game. Great moments if you're a Padres fan, but it's also a test of empathy because, man, I felt for that kid out there. That's a young team, and you thought you were, in the spotlight just sitting behind home plate and worried what you're eating. Imagine being the kid who's out there in front of a sellout crowd of screaming fans that, want him to fail. And every single play that comes his way, he finds a way to boot the ball. I mean, even he got charged with 3 errors. There were 5 times he could have made plays that helped his team that did not happen. And eventually coming off the field, face in his glove, wiping away, what appeared to be tears. That was tough to watch for a kid like that. And there were some nice empathetic words from Fernando Tatis Jr. after the game.
Fernando said it happens. It's baseball. Everyone that has won a platinum or gold glove has had one of those nights. I definitely know he's a great player. He has won MVP from Winter League. Dang it, pop-up just popped up right in the middle.
When that happens, but yeah.
He said he has won MVP from Winter League over in the Dominican. I've seen him play really good baseball. I have no doubt he's going to be a really good baseball player. 25 years old, had a night like that. I'm a dad. That's the first thing I went to. Is I'm a dad. If that's my son, I just want to put my arms around him. Watching your kid booting one yourself is such a lonely feeling. I made a couple back-to-back errors before in a game, and you want to dig a hole, crawl into it, and never come out. You really do, and I can't imagine on that stage what it feels like. I really was empathetic. Yes, great. Thank you for helping us win a ball game. We probably don't do it without, you kicking it around and the flip on the double play. I went, this is our night. This is our night, period, the end. And when he ran off, he ran down into the tunnel, and he had to have coaches go after him. I hope they put their arms around him, loved on him, told him, hey, man, we're going to get you right back out there tomorrow. Again, everyone's kicked. Manny had 3 errors in a game last week.
In an
inning. Yeah, bro, it happens. Like, it absolutely happens. How do you bounce back from it? How do you recover is the most important thing. But my heart broke for that kid.
It also was reminiscent of what the Padres were doing for the first month plus of the season, taking advantage and putting pressure. What do they say? We don't feel pressure, we apply pressure. Well, the Padres were applying pressure.
Yeah, they did.
And the Marlins and Simone crumbled under that pressure because they're a young team and they're not a very good team. And hopefully you get those wins, and that's why this homestand is so important for the Padres to take advantage. They got the first 2 games. Obviously, tough customer. He's been struggling today in Sandy Alcantara, who's going to face, Kyle Hart, who's coming back after being in the minors. I have no idea what to expect in the game today, but Padres really need these games, as many as possible on this homestand, because the schedule's only going to get tougher after this.
I thought again, it wasn't just resiliency by Kolek and the offense. I'm telling you what, man, how about the bullpen? Like, knowing that some of your big guys are down. Suarez is not.
Suarez, Adam, and Morejon were only going to be used in emergencies last night.
Right, and to be able to get through what you got through with Kolek giving you 5 1/3, and then with Yuki and Sean Reynolds and Estrada covering the rest of those innings, I thought it was outstanding, man. And the bullpen has pitched really. They had that bad little spurt, and they seem to have righted the ship. Obviously, it's baseball; anything can change. But I thought the umpire was terrible. I was on him. Quinn Wolcott. I was on him. Like, it was bad. Some of the check swings, I'm like, what are you asking for help? I can see it. I have the same view you do. That's clearly a go, or that's clearly a hold. And I was on him a little bit last night because I thought some of Yuki's pitches, I'm like, bro, what do we do? I don't know what the box said at home, but Yuki was like pumping strikes. Ball, it's out, it's away. I'm like, come on, man. So they overcame a lot last night to win. And again, look, it's one game. It's against the Marlins, means nothing other than you've won the series, which is a big deal. But I just thought all the stuff they had to overcome last night was pretty remarkable.
None more, of course, than Stephen Kolek, who became the first pitcher since 1999, Bartolo Colon, to allow 6 earned runs in the first inning and still record the win. Ended up going 5 1/3, 6 hits, the 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. You were right. They were hitting the ball hard. I was looking at the StatCast in the first inning, and a lot of over 100-mile-an-hour exit velocities. No, not barrels, because they weren't in the air. They were on the ground. And most of the time, one of those balls goes right at a defender 100%. And it's a double play and you get out of the inning. Didn't happen, though. No. And, I wouldn't say – you could say he was unlucky. I would say he just wasn't lucky. And there's a fine line. There's a fine line and difference between unlucky and not lucky. And in that case, he was more not lucky. And with that many chances in baseball, none of the hits in the first inning had an expected hit percentage of over 500. So they were all coin flips, and they won every coin flip. So in that sense, he was unlucky that he didn't win one of those coin flips. But they were all like 490, 480. They were hit hard. They were 102, 104, and they were squaring it up at least against Stephen Kolek in the first inning, but then he bounced back and some hard outs that, maybe got some lucky, deep flies in the right part of the ballpark, but just gritty, and to go back out there and not succumb to a 6-run first inning where he threw, close to 40 pitches. That was very impressive.
I thought, for the Marlins, Max Meyer is really fun to watch pitch, and I think that kid's going to be really good someday. He's a young dude, throws really, really hard. And I saw a couple guys out of their bullpen look pretty nasty as well. It was, look, I told Schilt this the other day, and I think I mentioned it yesterday. There's just no reprieve for a big league baseball player. And then you get through these 2 games, and then there's Sandy on the mound, who has the potential to be the best pitcher in baseball on any given day. There's no reprieve. There's no, hey, today's an easy day. Right? Like, you just don't run into the thumbers, and even the thumbers will make you insane, and so they're all just so good. The perspective of sitting down there just watching the fuzz on these pitches last night is just Jeremiah Estrada in warmups. I mean, he threw one that was kind of up, and it looked like it was coming right for my forehead, and I was just like, I backed up. It's so staggering when you're down close to see just how hard these cats are throwing. And again, fresh new perspective, man. I'm amazed we put a ball in play. These guys throw so hard.
So Padres make it 4 out of 5 wins. They're back to 9 games above 500, and they will wrap up the series this afternoon. 1:10 start, 12:10 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. Yeah, Sandy Alcantara, who has lost 7 starts in a row, and not 1-nothings. I mean, he's given up 5 runs, 7 runs, 4 runs, 5 runs. He has struggled coming back from his Tommy John surgery, but he's going to right the ship at some point. You don't want it to be today as the Padres go for the sweep. We'll talk more about it. But when we come back, Big League Wednesday, Jake Peavy going to join us supposedly from the airport in Atlanta before he catches a flight. Padres ambassador and legend going to join us next with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Miami Marlins last night. But let's go right out to, I believe, Jackson Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, according to Woods when he was chatting with our next guest, Jake Peavy, Padres ambassador, special assistant to the CEO. You see him on MLB Network. Jake, good morning. It is great to have you back on with Ben and Woods.
Good morning, boys. My apology in advance. You are correct.
You sound great.
You sound fantastic.
Yeah. No, if you hear some boarding calls and cattle calls in the background, I apologize. But enjoying look, I've been here since the boys were here the past weekend and stayed around to do the TBS post and pregame for the Braves Phillies last night. Now up to New Jersey for the network.
And I saw last night Bryce Harper got dotted 96, I think, to the elbow. Had to come out of the game. That's his surgically repaired elbow. Peeve. Look, you were a tough pitcher, man. That kind of sucks. Obviously, I don't think there was any intent behind it at all. You have to pitch Bryce Harper inside. When you do something like that, when you're on the mound and you've lived it, there's got to be a twinge of you that says, "Oh crap, I didn't want to do that."
No, you don't like sending anybody out of the ball game. You know, there's certainly times where I took pride in throwing it at guys. And I'm telling you right now, if I were on the other team last night, if I were Ranger Suarez, unintentional as it was, you take my best player out of the game and possibly for the series even longer. It's an eye for an eye. I'm letting Austin Riley, Acuna, somebody's eating a fastball because, man, I'm gonna tell you that hit Bryce and fell straight down. I mean, his elbow, and I could just imagine that arm being completely numb. You could see the pain he was in. Not fun. Spencer Strider certainly just hasn't figured out his command just yet. I saw bits and signs of him coming back and being who we know him to be, but command was just an issue last night, and that one got away from him, unfortunately. Thankfully, no broken bones for Bryce.
You know, Jake, we've made some comparisons between the Padres and Phillies. Obviously, they met in that great NLCS in 2022, but two teams that are built to win now, and the Phillies are winning right now. They just had a 9-game winning streak. They actually have the best winning percentage in baseball. Do you see that team as one that could go all the way this year, that has the pieces still in place? As they kind of getting a little older now?
No, they've got to punch their ticket. They've been thinking for the last few years that they have a team to do that. I'm close with a few guys over there, mainly Schwarber. Some of those pitchers have become my buddies, and they're starting to feel that pressure. We just talked about Bryce Harper. If Bryce Harper doesn't win a championship, that is something that's going to eat at him and be around his legacy. I think he knows that. And then you got to go back to Washington. Washington traded him away, sent him packing. Or when he left the Washington team, that team that was the best in the National League for many years, we beat them in 14 and had no business. That team finally punched through without Bryce Harper. The year that he leaves, they win with a lot the same team. That had to hurt him, and it's his turn, he feels like. So you're exactly right. And look, that's why we couldn't get by them a few years ago. They were hungry, but we're tit for tat. Those two teams, like you said, the Padres and the Phillies, are two teams that nobody wants to face in the postseason when we're playing our best baseball.
No question. Talking to the great Jake Peavy here on Ben and Woods this morning. And you know, you guys at MLB Network, I think we hear Ben had them go into the World Series, winning the World Series potentially this year. The Baltimore Orioles, Jake, one of the most interesting stories, I think, in the game of baseball. Can you speak to what that's like to have massive expectations? And look, I realize that it's almost June. These guys are 10 games out of a playoff spot in a division with the Yankees. The Rays are playing decent baseball. You still got the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Like, it's got to feel like they are underwater right now. And do you think they're going to end up selling off pieces at the deadline, Jake? Or are they going to ride this thing out?
Yeah, you never know with the front office. They traded for the Trevor Rogers kid in Florida, and he ended up in AAA after they traded Stowers and Norby and top prospects there. They have absolutely botched the last couple trade deadlines, if you ask me, with what they've had there in place playing well. I got to get Woodsy to call me. Who do you think was going to pitch for him all the way to getting the World Series and winning that thing? That was certainly my concerns from the beginning with this team that's played out. Unfortunately, Brandon Hyde just had to bite the bullet.
Yep.
Look, I don't know what Mike Elias and those guys will do. I heard him take a little bit of credit for what's happened there, but they haven't been able to, since they've got those kids to the big leagues, And there's been a short stint where Grayson Rodriguez was in there healthy, and they had Corbin Burns over there, and you're like, all right, they can make a run. Other than that, they just simply haven't had the pitching that anybody believed was a threat when you get in the postseason.
And when you're the Marlins, who we played last night, and you've got some good young scrappy talent, you got some good young arms. When you're the White Sox, not a lot of expectations. Going to the ballpark has got to feel different. Like, hey man, there's really no pressure. I want to stay here. I want to compete. We want to, be spoilers. When you're the Baltimore Orioles, a lot of people picked you to finish first, and now you're sitting there with 19 wins. You're 10 games out. How hard is that to go to the ballpark after you realize we've just kind of blew everybody's expectations up?
Well, it's hard, but then again, I think these kids are certainly I think Stowers and some of the guys that are over there playing every day would like to be on a better team.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're in the big leagues getting a chance to play where they might not elsewhere. I'll tell you what, I like the pitching in Chicago. Chicago White Sox can flat out pitch. They're starting to figure out some players. You see playing the Mets tough last night. Will Venable's got that bunch turned around. Chris Getz and company over there, Josh Barfield, our good buddy. They have a nice thing going in building. Miami, a lot of talent. I'm just not sure Miami's strategy. I'm telling you, you guys watching this game last night,
yep.
Miami Marlins were down 2 runs to start the 9th inning, which means the first run doesn't mean anything. First batter. How he's not taking a strike right there, I have no idea. I'm serious. So off Estrada, first batter goes 1-0. He swung the ball in the dirt the next pitch to make it 1-1. Estrada threw 2 more balls after that. Would have been ball 4 if he's taking a strike. And so I'm not sure what the messaging is and what type of baseball Miami's trying to play. They're supposedly as analytically evolved as anybody.
Yeah.
I need to see some baseball IQ and awareness. That was little to none. I'm going to call it terrible baseball.
Jake, let's talk about the Padres starting pitching staff because obviously, they haven't had Yu Darvish all season. Now Michael King is on the injured list. Nick Pivetta has been just one of the best signings, late in the offseason. But guys like Randy Vasquez and Stephen Kolek continue to step up philosophically. I mean, Ruben, you've seen now inside the organization. What is it that is making these guys successful collectively, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's a group effort for sure. It certainly starts with each one of these guys, Randy Vasquez and Kolek, understanding that they wanted to take steps forward this year, were challenged to by the staff. Both have answered the bell, especially Randy. The outing last night from Kolek tells you everything you need to know about the kid. To put your ego aside after that tough inning and go back to work and do what he did. Bullpen was tough as nails again last night. But it starts, like I said, those guys taking accountability. Ruben is as good of a pitching mind as I've been around, truly, guys. I'm jealous that I didn't have him around in playing days. Darren Balsley was as good as it gets, but the pitch doctor, as Mud calls him, and that he is. Watching him work and get the best out of the guys, understanding what they do well, taking them over there to the lab. That was all happening out in Camp 44. And all of that stuff has paid off. So credit to the staff. Fitzy and Ruben are as good of pitching as it comes. We got a good ballpark to pitch in. I think that instills confidence in the guys. But again, it goes back to those guys taking accountability, becoming better.
How much pressure is it on guys like Cease and King, knowing that they're going into free agency as a pitcher? You got to try to stay healthy, but you also want to impress everybody because you're trying to, pitch for a contract, probably your biggest one that you're ever going to get.
And you want to win.
Yeah, and you want to win. What's that feeling like for aces like those guys?
I think probably Michael's a little upset that he had to miss some time here. Hopefully it's nothing serious and truly just slept on it wrong to make sure that he's healthy for the run and not push anything early in the season. Dylan, I talked to him after Sunday. He feels like he's 1 or 2 pitches every start away from being really good and back to where he wants to be on a consistent basis. I don't think either one of these guys, I know them pretty well now, talking with them, they're not stressed. These boys are both about to see more money than all of us will in our lifetime, no matter how the season plays out.
So true.
Really. And so I think both of them understand their value. Dylan and both of them's body of work is now going to get them paid. Hopefully, at least one of them, if not both of them, stay around.
It's so hard to imagine this team without either of those guys, Peavy. I know you got to catch a flight, man. I know you got a long day ahead of you. We really appreciate your time. The family doing well?
Family is doing well. And I'll tell you this, our Padres family is doing well. It was an absolute blast being with them, being back around like we talked about last time.
Yeah.
It's really got me charged up. It feels great to be a part of the organization again. And it's keeping me up late on the East Coast, having to watch all these games.
I know.
Killing my sleep, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
Well, I don't think you sleep much anyway. You're Jake Peavy. I've seen you in action, bro. I mean, I think you're fine. Yeah, you're good.
You going to get back out here to the West Coast anytime soon?
Yeah, I won't be back out until the 1st of July.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to spend this month back on the East Coast, but I'll be back out the 1st of July and throughout the rest of the season.
All right, hit us up.
Get us in the playoffs and hopefully punch through.
Hit us up when you get back, and we will go do something or go check out a game or have you in or something, man. We appreciate your time this morning.
Same to you, boys. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks,
Padres Hall of Famer Jake Peavy. Always appreciate when he can spend a few minutes with us. Brings enthusiasm, knowledge, it's just insight. He's always great, especially talking about pitchers. And he's right. Dylan Cease and Michael King could both really kind of fall off the map the second half of the season. It's not going to cost them that much. They are both going to be desirable commodities this offseason.
I mean, I think in the world that we all live in, yeah, man, your performance is down or off. They use it against you. In baseball, they're like, doesn't matter. I mean, look at the body of work, look at the stuff, look at whatever. But yeah, like Pete said, both those guys are going to get paid. Really, regardless of Sandy Alcantara has had a terrible year, Ben. The guy's going to get paid. You know what I mean? It just
guy's a trade chip still,
right?
I mean, he's got an ERA over 8,
yeah,
and I guarantee you,
people are salivating.
There are teams and GMs that are calling about him every single day, going, "Hey, you ready to trade him yet?"
Is today the day? Is today the day?
And the Marlins are rightfully going, "Yes, but we're not you don't get a discount for an 8 ERA. He's still Sandy Alcantara."
That's right.
So you're paying full price. So it doesn't matter what the recent results have looked like. And the other GMs are like, "Yeah, you're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've been at serious bidding war against other teams who are going to want this guy." So
no question. And I think there's probably 10 pitching coaches around the league that go, "Oh, I know exactly what's wrong with him. I know exactly how I can fix Sandy Alcantara."
It's probably just the normal coming back from long-term surgery. It's not an instant. It's not an instant return.
No.
And, worry about that with Joe Musgrove.
No doubt.
How long will it take him? He'll have the advantage, likely won't pitch this season. So he'll have that extra 6 months before he even has to really throw a real pitch in a game that could help him speed up that process of getting back to being Joe Musgrove.
Right.
When he's, guys who come back in 12 months, they're just not quite the same for a few months, but they want to get back because it's the middle of the season and they get a chance to pitch. Joe will have those extra months to probably really feel locked in. Camp 44 again, spring training, and hopefully, when he takes the mound, it'll be a little closer to Joe Musgrove like next season.
Speaking of one, Joe Musgrove.
Really?
How about this that I got last night? I sent it to you and Paulie. I got a DM, one of my several hundred DMs being at the game last night. And a guy named G said, "Yo, have you stopped by the Authentica store lately? Last week, I saw they had Joe's personal locker clothes for sale." Oh, that's pretty cool. He said his Ben and Wood shirt was there for sale. Anyway.
So this is at Petco Park, one of the
there's like a
kiosk,
like almost. A little kiosk that has this is Jake Cronenworth's game used batting gloves. You can go buy those. So they took these are the clothes from Joe Musgrove's locker, and you can buy them
like a garage sale.
Yeah,
almost.
Like a garage sale. He said, "Anyway, you should go buy it or just take it since it's yours anyway." I said, "No way," and he goes, "Oh yeah." I go, "How much is it?" It's like $50. I'm like, "All right, next, if somebody's at Petco, go buy me that shirt. That's mine anyway." That I gave out of the goodness of my heart to the great Joe Musgrove.
I mean, you can buy your own Ben and Wood shirt on our merch store.
You could. It won't cost you $50.
Look through our link tree. You're going to find it. It won't cost you as much, but it won't have spent time in Joe Musgrove's locker. Now, did he ever put it on? I have no idea.
I doubt it.
Just sat in his locker, and then he said, "I need to clean some of this stuff out." But instead of throwing it away, the Padres are go,
We'll sell it.
Don't throw it away. We'll sell anything that's in your locker at the Authentic store.
Can I send an NDA to the Padres or a cease and desist to the Padres for selling my merch without my consent here? I don't know, but
without the express written authorized consent of Ben and Woods,
like
you can't resell our merch.
I love Joe, and Joe, I thought, loved us, and now I'm like, huh. Like, take it home and clean your car with it. I don't care. You don't throw it up in the merch store. His mom's going to DM me any second. She listens to every single day.
We're doing our part to help finance the team.
So good.
With our merch.
Nate says, what a dig from Joe. I know. That's how I feel. But my heart was broken a little bit. You didn't have to wear it. I just gave it to you. I didn't think you were going to sell it for extra cash.
Does he see any of that? Or
I don't know.
Just like, is he in a percentage? How does this work?
I got to give him grief the next time I see him. Now that I know that, I'm going to be like, huh, how's your shirt? Where is it?
We didn't give it to the Padres.
No.
We gave it to Joe personally.
Like, hey, where's your shirt? Do this bit. Like, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, man. You doing good? Yeah, everything's good. See, your locker is full. Where's your Ben and Wood shirt?
And then he goes, "Oh no, I took it home, or I've got it."
Oh,
yeah, I love that. I
love that
I
shirt.
wear it home all the time.
Yeah, I wear it when I walk my dogs and go down to the beach. You're lying. Lie to me. You understand? Yeah, crazy. Junior says it crazy. It gains.
Is that
value.
worse than re-gifting it to someone else?
Selling it? Yes. Or giving it to somebody else and they sell it? Broke my heart. Well, you wears his every day, apparently. He says it's the most comfortable shirt he's ever owned.
It's crazy that it's gained value. It doesn't cost that much from our merch store. Maybe if we could we should take all of our merch, put it in lockers, and then take it back and then resell it for a higher price. We can actually increase the value.
Oh, Joe got us real good. No, now we know. Now we know now we know where it's good to know where your relationship is with someone.
I think you just burned one of our don't do this items ahead of our next segment.
I could have, yeah.
Could have given Joe a don't do this. I got a don't do this for you involving someone who was an absolute icon when we were about 9 years old. Woods was in the news this week. So we get to don't do this coming up in our next segment. Don't go away, though. We got more Ben and Woods on the way. We'll talk more about the rest of baseball, what's going on, and a big day, decision day for Miles Bird in the NBA draft. San Diego State. Where is he leaning? Which way he's going? Staying in the draft or returning to the Aztecs next season? Talk about that all coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I want to tell you about SDFatLoss.com. It is still May, which means you can still take advantage of their spring special. And with $200 off, now is a phenomenal time to get in shape and lose the weight that's been just plaguing you for who knows how long. For me, it was about 5 or 6 years. I just realized I had let the weight get a little too out of hand. I was starting to feel it in my back, was not, sleeping well, kind of had the sleep apnea going. And I finally found a program that worked for me. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. More importantly, I've kept the weight off now for 2 years because it's a sustainable program. They don't rely on drugs or injections. You don't have to eat a bunch of bars or shakes. You're eating real food and you're losing weight up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. And then when you get off the program, you're not losing weight anymore. You're still eating the same kind of food. So it's so much easier to keep that weight off. Find out how it can work for you. Talk to one of their great counselors with a free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. You will understand why so many people in San Diego have already lost so much weight on the SDFatLoss.com program. And if you start now, by the time July is over, there'll still be plenty of summer left to enjoy in swimsuits and T-shirts and shorts, feeling like a brand new you. At SDFatLoss.com, that's SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Set up a trust your will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right. Apparently, I'm not quite with it. So, Woods, why don't you get us started?
I will get us going here. Disturbing story. Police in Hawaii say that MMA legend BJ Penn, very famous MMA legend, was arrested over the weekend, not once, but twice, over multiple incidents that he had with a 79-year-old woman. I don't think that's a fair fight with BJ Penn and a 79-year-old woman, but the first encounter he had with the elderly lady went down on Sunday. He took her mail and then shined a bright flashlight in her eyes when she asked for the mail to be returned. They said she was later shoved against a car by BJ Penn as she attempted to move the light away from her eyes. He was arrested over the allegations, booked on a charge of abuse of family or household member. Then they let him out after he posted bond.
Family or household member. So he's maybe related to the woman.
Potentially. That may be like just something.
Grandma.
Potentially. And he said, hey, listen, you're out on bond. Stay away, obviously. But he hours later went back, showed up to the 79-year-old woman's home again, led to another arrest, and then posted these weird videos on Instagram of him being dragged out of bed by the police, and again was arrested for harassment. He did write, fake Lorraine Shin, imposter identity thief, 80 years old, my ass. That was the caption of his video. I have no earthly idea what is going on with BJ Penn.
It's
as odd as it gets. And you wonder, like, all right, clearly we're not playing with, all of our cards here right now. But yeah, he was arrested again. So he's going to be in a little bit of deep trouble. BJ Penn, MMA legend.
All right. This is a story that's just kind of sad. America's sweetheart, if you remember from the 1980s. 1984 Olympic gold medal hero Mary Lou Retton has hit some hard times in the last couple of years. Had a brush with death back in 2023, like a severe case of, I think, like pneumonia or something that had her hospitalized and left like scarring on her lungs. She did recover, but now this weekend, Mary Lou Retton was arrested on suspicion of DUI in West Virginia. Some details now coming out from the case. According to local news outlet WDTV, court records state authorities got a call about a Porsche driving all over the roadway. They then apprehended Retton in the parking lot of an AutoZone not far away from where the call came in Marion County, West Virginia. Responding officers claim that Retton smelled like alcohol and spoke with slurred speech. They noticed a screw-top bottle of wine in the passenger seat of her vehicle. We'll let the court system play out on this one, but I think it's hard to, if you're younger than, say, our age, like if you're younger than 40, how big Mary Lou Retton was in the 1980s. I mean,
Massive.
She was maybe the biggest sports star we had in America,
no doubt,
for a period of a few years after she won the gold medal with her vault landing at perfect 10. I mean, it was like America's sweetheart story.
Yeah, she's not one that, look, addiction, problems, everybody has them, right? Everybody has them. Nobody is immune to those demons, certainly, right? But I'm glad she didn't hurt anyone for this. But then, you think, like, if you gave me a list of people that would get arrested for DUI, she'd be like close to the bottom of it.
I mean, just
doesn't seem like the type, right?
Cute as a button.
She's
Mary Lou Retton.
I could tell
Ben had a
little crush on her.
Everyone had a little crush on Mary Lou Retton.
I didn't like her hair. I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I didn't like the bell cut.
Yeah,
I was not a big fan of it, but I certainly appreciated her greatness, to be sure.
I mean, when you have to get a perfect 10 to nail a vault, and you're just tumbling over that incredible moment that was. I still remember that from 1984.
No doubt. We were 9 years old. All right, let's get to some doo-doo this. This is a good
DD mega doo-doo.
Well, congratulations to world champion competitive eater Joey Chestnut. This may be the most impressive one he's done. Now,
I think so.
He's eaten 1 billion hot dogs, and we know all the stuff that he's accomplished. He's a multiple Guinness Book of World Records holder. I thought he retired from competitive eating, or maybe it's just from the hot dog contest. I'm not sure. This one is almost impossible. He crushed his own world record of eating buttered popcorn. He downed, is this right? He downed 42 servings of buttered popcorn out of like a movie theater tub. 42 servings in, by the way, 8 minutes.
See, now I can crush one of those tubs over the course of an entire movie, but I can't eat popcorn fast.
No one can. It gets all the
it would be so hard to eat popcorn quickly.
The only way you could do it is if you poured water all over it, let it sit and soak like cereal, and then just down the bowl to where it was like liquid. Because the kernels and the little flecks,
the skin of the kernels that gets on there is the worst.
It gets caught in your throat.
I'm surprised he even tried this again, because reportedly the last time he tried for the record with popcorn,
almost died,
cracked a tooth because he got a seed. And you're trying to eat so fast, you don't even realize there's a seed in there, and you're chomping it down, and all of a sudden you hit one of those popcorn seeds. It's the worst.
So he said his strategy is chugging water with every swallow to help the popcorn go down. Yeah, you got to have the water.
A lot of water.
40.
But the water fills you up, so you can't drink too much water as you're trying to consume all the popcorn.
He's beaten his own world record twice. He had 32 servings, 20 up from 28, and now he's at 42. 42 things of popcorn in 8 minutes.
I try to imagine, like, what's the most enjoyable record.
Yeah,
but I don't think there is. I don't think any of it's fun. I think it all is bad.
That's a banana pudding from Petco Park would be. I'll certainly die trying if they want to try this. What is the best one? What is the best?
I mean, after like 2 or 3 hot dogs, it's got to be
it's repulsive.
It's got to be repulsive.
I can eat
popcorn would be horrible.
I can eat shrimp cocktail and deviled eggs in a pretty ungodly amount. Both of those things I really love. But I mean, I could eat 20 big shrimp That's an oxymoron. 20 jumbo shrimp.
He owns records: chicken wings, pulled pork sandwiches.
Oh my God.
Taco Bell soft tacos, Crystal hamburgers, meat pies, eggs, hard-boiled eggs.
People in the chat saying ice cream. No, there's no chance your brain would explode.
Pork ribs, corned beef sandwiches, apple pie, Philly cheesesteaks, funnel cake, fish tacos, traditional tacos, mutton sandwiches, jalapeno
What's
poppers.
the record there? One?
Sandwiches.
I'm going to beat my world record. 1.5.
81 4-ounce sandwiches in 10 minutes.
There's no way.
I mean, that's a small. It's
a small slider, but it's
81
mutton.
of them.
Hey, by the way, what is mutton?
It's lamb.
It is sheep?
It's like, adult lamb. Sheep, mutton.
Adult, like X-rated? What do you mean, adult
grown-up lamb? It's
what
sheep.
is it? Do people eat baby lamb?
Yeah.
What do they call
lamb
that?
Is baby lamb.
Lamb is a baby sheep.
sheep.
That's right. That makes
sense. Shrimp wontons. I don't even know what a horseshoe sandwich is. I mean, he's got like 52 or more records.
What is he? I could eat a lot of Junior Mints. I love Junior Mints.
I like Junior Mints
I
too.
could get 3 boxes down right now. 3 easily. Wouldn't even flinch.
You always feel like there's not quite enough in one box.
There's never been enough Junior Mints in one box.
You always get to the end and you go,
what else could I eat?
wish there was a few more Junior Mints in there.
What else could I eat a lot of? What would be your favorite thing to try? Not that you think you could win, but like, hey man, I love this.
I would at least try.
I would try to break the record.
That's a good question. Oreos, maybe?
Really?
Oh, I like Oreos.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I couldn't do it. I think shrimp. I'm like George Costanza, dude. I get after it. I buy at Lazy Acres like just the tub of like shrimp and shrimp cocktail. I eat them myself. There's like 14 of them in there.
Chris Ella once did California roll sushi.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think he quite made it. He was trying to eat like
100 pieces or something.
Like 100 pieces.
No way. Banana pudding, it would be mine. That's it. Thank you.
And that's do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll come back. We can talk a little more baseball around the league from yesterday. Plus, it is a match day for San Diego FC. Did you realize that?
I totally did
not realize that. Yeah, they get a match tonight, so we can talk a little bit more about SDFC, some fallout from their brawl as well. Again, an update there for you all coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, Woods and I want to tell you about our place to play cards, 7 Mile Casino. We drove by it. I know I drove by it a bunch of times before I ever went in. It's right off the freeway in the 5. You can actually see it there in Chula Vista, and I just never really gave it much thought. Like, that's probably not great. I mean, otherwise I would have heard about it. And then I went in and I go, no, this place is absolutely fantastic. Someone needs to be telling San Diego how good 7 Mile Casino is. So Woods and I have taken it upon ourselves to spread that message.
Yes, just out of the goodness of our hearts, telling you about how great 7 Mile Casino is. They will cater to the high limit player. They'll cater to the casual player as well. They'll cater to you if you just want to come in and have some delicious Kung Pao chicken. Now, I don't think I could eat a ton of that Kung Pao chicken. Just one plate will do. It's a little bit spicy, but man, it is tasty. The Asian pork chop with slaw is incredible. They have really, really good food there. They got great dealers. They got friendly people. It's a smoke-free environment as well.
And you don't have to drive way out. I had to go out there last week to one of those places to cover a story. It's such a long drive. It was like 55 minutes and then 55 minutes back. That's all time you could be sitting down enjoying yourself, playing, watching games on television. They've got a beautiful, beautiful place for it. Please check it out today. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. Yeah, it is a match day Woods for SDFC. They are on the road. One of the, I think it's just their second midweek game, playing at the Seattle Sounders tonight. 5:30 kickoff up there at Lumen Field. They always get big attendance numbers for Seattle, one of the flagship franchises of Major League Soccer.
I was going to say they've been around a long time.
Yeah, they've been, if they're not one of the originals, definitely one of the early ones. A lot of success up there in Seattle. But SDFC, actually, one of their more impressive wins in early April, they shut out Seattle 3-0 at Snapdragon Stadium. And Seattle's not a bad team. They've got 23 points in the standings. SDFC is at 27 in second place behind Vancouver, who's been really good. They're like number one in the power rankings. So like this week's SI power rankings has SDFC at like number 3 in the league.
Nice.
So, they're now viewed as a championship contender, and they're trying to complete what would be an unbeaten month of May. They've played 5 matches. They've won 4. And they tied one of them. So they're 4-0-1.
We call it a draw.
A draw, yeah. It was a tie.
We call it a draw.
They drawed one of them. Well, I don't think you say they drawed one.
They drew.
They drew one match? Yeah. They tied. Scoreless draw against Sporting KC.
Well, dude, they're on the bit of a gauntlet, right? Because they had a midweek game. Then they had the weekend game. And then they have Seattle today. And then they play
Austin
on Saturday, and then they get a couple of weeks off.
Well, then it's the FIFA break. So you've got the Gold Cup and the international
play.
Yeah, international. Chucky and Anders and Luca De La Torre all called up to their national squad.
Nice.
So they take a bit of a break. I think you do sometimes miss games with some of those guys as well, but you don't want to miss too many. So they take a little hiatus during the season. So cramming in a couple of more games before they do that, trying to keep their momentum going with 2 more games this week. But they also, there's some more details that have come out of the big brawl that happened on Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium.
Got a couple DMs about it yesterday after we talked about it on the show.
So I was reading the story. Mark Ziegler wrote it in the UT. And Frankie, you were at the game. You were watching it on Saturday. So during the game, there really weren't any incidents to report. They had extra security that was around the LA Galaxy fans.
Yep.
And that worked during the game. They were kind of cordoned off in their own section. But then once the game ended, that's when the problem started. So apparently, way back, first match of the season, when San Diego FC went up to Carson and beat the LA Galaxy, one of the SD rooting sections had brought their club flag. It's like a Bob Marley flag.
Yes.
And it got stolen at the game. And they go, someone stole our flag. And, and then at the end of the game, after SDFC beat LA Galaxy this weekend, the guys who stole the flag unfurled it and hung it upside down. Hey, we've got your flag. We stole it. And that kind of incited some anger, obviously, from the SDFC fan club who had their flag stolen back earlier in the season and then having it rubbed in their faces after their team had just won again. And that was apparently one of the instigating incidents that led to the brawl after the game at Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah, it was from the Dago Boys support group, and then they put on Instagram after, it says, our Barra has several leaders which hold the group to a certain standard of support in our stand, but also protect our youth from possible danger. The Barra and its leaders do not condone any form of violence. Every match day, we turn our focus to throwing a party in the stands, and only that. Yeah, and then there's some comments in there. They were brawling over a stolen flag. Keep your word and ban them. They've given the franchise a black eye, created a dangerous situation for everyone else. Yeah, they're talking about finding out, who some of the instigators and participants and banning them.
Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC, says, it takes a while to specifically identify the aggressors. They're in that process. They said they're not a legal authority, but we control who comes into our games. And he says, quote, we intend to ban for an extended period of time the folks who most warranted. It can be anything from multiple games to permanently. But they want to make sure they identify everyone correctly, and they will hopefully then keep the troublemakers out of future matches.
Yeah, and you obviously you want to focus on the product on the field, not what is happening in the stands after a game, supporter group flags and things of that nature. It is kind of the nature of sports. I don't purport to understand it necessarily of that entire culture. I've never been a part of it. I've been to went to the bar the one time to watch a match and was blown away. I mean, blown away with the chants and the people that are they're so into it. And I don't pretend to understand exactly what it entails. So I don't want to be ignorant when I speak about it. So I'm not going to. But I do think, again, the product on the field is outstanding this year. It's outstanding, and it has really done a lot to captivate San Diego and get casuals involved in the sport, like myself. When you told me there was a game tonight, I went and checked. 5:30. It's on. I have the package. I paid for the package. Padres are on early. SDFC's on tonight.
Yep.
Now I know what I'm doing tonight, and that's not something I would have said, a year and a half, 2 years ago, for sure. And but yeah, keeping the product. The news and the attention, the eyes on the Dryers and the Lozanos and guys like that. That's really what's important.
And the good news is, though, at least as far as the Galaxy are concerned, because of the way soccer schedules are, they play reverse fixtures. So you play one at their home, one at ours. So you're done facing the LA Galaxy this year. And the only other time you play an LA team is LAFC, and that's
at their house.
Yeah, and that's up north.
Yeah,
so
be careful.
You won't see them again this year.
All right, and we'll have more on SDFC. Darren Smith will join us on Friday for his weekly segment talking about the team.
And I'm sure Darren's tired of talking about it. You know what I mean? Like he loves the game.
Well, we'll have another game to talk about and a game to preview as well. So a lot to get to. We'll check traffic. A bit of a shakeup in the NL West standings the last couple of days. Get you updated on what's been going on in the Padres division next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Accident has cleared on westbound 8 at the North 163 connector ramp. No other accidents to report, but we do have some metal debris reported in the two right lanes on North 805 past Sorrento Valley Road. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
That was just a few days ago. The Padres were dipping in the standings. They were closer to fourth than they were first. But all of a sudden, as you wake up this morning and take a look at the NL West standings, the Dodgers still lead. They're 34-21. They won again last night. Shohei Ohtani is now hot again.
I'd say he's pretty locked in.
Yep, third straight day with a home run, his 20th of the season. They beat the Guardians 9-5. The Padres have moved back into sole possession of second place at 31-22, thanks to their 3 straight wins. First 3-game winning streak since that 6-gamer at the beginning of May. The Giants have dropped back. Now, they're playing a tough team. They lost to the Tigers again yesterday, 3-1. Jack Flaherty held them to just 2 hits, struck out 8 in 6 strong innings as they beat the Giants for a second straight day. And the Diamondbacks continue to just I keep expecting the Diamondbacks to get going here, and they didn't. And last night might have been one of their worst losses of the season. They were up, I think, 6-0 at one point, just like the Miami Marlins were. And they were still up 6-2, I believe, going into the top of the 8th inning, hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates, last place team. And the Pirates scored 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning, including a tie-breaking 3-run home run by Brian Reynolds, as they came back to beat the Diamondbacks 9-7 or 9-6 and shock that team that was looking to move back above 500. Now they're a game under 500 and 7 games back in the NL West.
That is a tough L. A very, very tough L to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, man, Ben, they're a very, at least their record is a very mid team, man. They are 14-14 at home. They are 13-14 away. They're just kind of stuck there in the middle. And, you look at it, I don't know what happened in the game last night. Just a complete and total bullpen implosion.
Well, the bullpen's been
bad.
It's been an issue.
Yeah.
They sent Manaply down.
Yep. Brought him back
They've
up.
had some injuries. They really have not been able to figure out the bullpen.
I'm telling you,
it's been torturing him so far.
When I watched them play a week or so ago, they were on, and I tuned into the game, and I looked at their lineup and I went, God dang, man, these guys are scrappy. They are scrappy, and you can see if Corbin Carroll's really, really playing great. Ketel Marte, they have a really strong, kind of terrifying lineup. You don't want these guys to get going. You want one of these teams, Ben, either the Giants or the Diamondbacks, to just fall off the map.
I mean, Corbin Carroll has 16 homers, 2.1 WAR. Eugenio Suarez has 15 homers. Geraldo Perdomo actually leads their team in WAR at 2.5, and Ketel Marte is probably their best player. He was hurt for some of the season, but they have really solid 4 in the lineup. The pitching, I think they expected more, out of their starters, especially, with Zach Gallen, Corbin Burns, and Merrill Kelly now, but Corbin Burns hasn't quite gotten it completely. It's a 2.72 ERA, so he's not pitching poorly, but he's like yesterday he was on the mound.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't hold on to the win for him. So I don't know if feel like they're going to turn it around and go on a run at some point, but it's going to be hard to do in the division that they play in, because they got a lot of games against the Padres and Dodgers and Giants still. I don't see any of the teams dominating those series over the course of a season.
Yeah, again, you went into this season as a Padres fan and you went, yeah, okay. Like my pick was, I didn't think the Giants were going to be around long, but as they do, they hang around, and they've got good pitching, and they have really good run prevention, and they score. They've scored more than their differential's better than the Padres right now, Benny, because they do such a good job at holding teams down. We beat them twice already. Going to have a lot more games against those guys, so it's going to get the juice is going to get really amped up in June, and this is where you can either start to bury a team or bury yourself.
We'll talk more about the playoff, contenders versus pretenders coming up in the second half of Ben and Woods. We'll also play a little Take on Woods in our next hour as well. Stick around. Lots more to get to on a Wednesday with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
night at the Padres game. I think a lot of Padres fans were pretty fired up and hyped up for last night's win. Come from behind, 8-6 victory over the Miami Marlins. Man, it was a good one. Good one to be at for sure. Woodsy, that is Italian Paul, Frank Marchese, filling in for Paul Reindl, who is in Las Vegas for his his anniversary trip with his wife, Megan. Looks like they're having a great time. I've only seen one picture, but he was supposed to have the Emerald Lagasse burger.
No, Gordon Ramsay burger.
The Gordon, I can't do anything right now. I'll tell you that. Ben Higgins joins us as well, friendly neighborhood sports anchor. I'm just off a little bit.
Well, I mean, you stayed up late last night. Yeah, you stayed through the 8th inning, didn't get home until after 10 o'clock, which is late for you. You're normally early to bed, early to rise.
Yeah.
Makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise.
So I'm neither healthy, wealthy, or wise. So what is my excuse?
I'm impressed, though, that you are as vocal as you are at the games, enough to be hoarse this morning.
Yeah.
I will admit, I cheer when I go as a fan Padres games, but, I'm more of a clap and, maybe it's a quick, but it's not.
Yeah.
But I'm not, when they when the scoreboard flashes make noise. Huzzah!
There you go,
Frankie. Well done. I'm not the constant screamer throughout the game.
What would get you to go, yeah? Is that really what you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
A ride?
All right. Way to go.
Way to go.
Way to go.
This is, what year are we in? You don't do this. I don't know if I can be on a show with you anymore.
Do you yell? What do you yell at the baseball game?
Yeah, let's go.
I just can't do that.
Something like that.
It's too enthusiastic.
Yeah. Man. All right.
All right.
You said all right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. Do you make noise when the scoreboard tells you to make noise?
I clap.
You clap.
When they did the make noise, everybody makes it.
Well, that
I do that bit. Fine.
Everyone's got to do that one.
I do that.
But they try to pick, specific moments, I think, when they feel like the extra noise could impact the game. Like, hey, rattle the other team, make some noise.
I did yell "Holy Sheets" when that's our
chant.
new.
You did
that's
the
our
chant.
new chant. Like we had Ha-Sung Kim, and everybody would yell Ha-Sung Kim, so I would do that. Now I do "Holy Sheets, Holy Sheets," and then everyone cheered for Manny. Of course, I did that one. But I was giving it the ump a little bit with Quinn Wolcott. Not as bad as I should, but enough to embarrass my wife, which is kind of the goal.
Did you feel like you had a good enough view to?
Perfect. It was.
He was kind of screening you though.
No, but I could
on
see
home
it.
plate. You could tell.
I could see it
because there were a couple of calls, especially that went against Stephen Kolek. One in particular, it was a strike, and the guy swung.
Yeah, and he swung,
and somehow both umpires missed it.
Tyler got me. He said, "I watched Woods throw his head back so many times after blown calls. That's me, like this." Oh. And I also do if it's a borderline pitch, I do the head to like the kind of the, I don't know, the head turn, like half turn, like, I don't know about that one. But yeah, I was hoarse, man.
Now I don't mind, standing up and, cheering. Yeah. I'll get out of my seat and, clap, but I'm not a constant yeller throughout the game.
My wife's biggest ovation last night was not for who you may think. She's moved on.
From Jake.
Yeah, she's a Sean Reynolds gal now.
Really?
Boy, when he came out of the bullpen, she lost her mind.
Sean Reynolds images.
Her mind.
Right.
I mean, he's a tall drink of water. Very tall.
Very tall.
Strapping. He's cool. Cool as hell.
A bit of a smoky look. He's
smoky.
The pictures that he's taken, like his professional team shots, he kind of gives you a hard stare. He's not kind of the,
right, smiley.
Say cheese kind of guy when he's taking any of these pictures. In fact, there's one where he's smiling. That's about it, though.
Yeah, Lisa says she likes a big boy. She does. She married a big boy. Now, I'm not anywhere near as big as Sean Reynolds, but she's a big Sean Reynolds gal now.
Not light-colored hair. You're not a light-colored hair guy.
And she really normally doesn't she liked Crony.
Yeah.
And
then Reynolds has fairly light colored hair as well.
But maybe she does like the big boy, the fireballer. Throw about 60, 69 miles an hour now on a good day. He was pumping it up there last night pretty good. Velo is a little down for Sean Reynolds this year in comparison to last, but still looks pretty good. Imposing guy on the mound.
I don't want to disappoint Hannah, but there's a chance that Sean Reynolds will be sent down to AAA today.
Is that going to be the move?
They have to make the move to bring Kyle Hart onto the roster again, which means someone from the pitching staff has to go down. And
that would be a bummer.
Well, I don't think anyone's hurt, which means it's probably someone who's unavailable today because they need someone out of the bullpen. Don't think it's going to be Yuki Matsui.
It's not going to be.
It's not going to be Jeremiah Estrada.
David Morgan.
It could be David Morgan.
But I kind of like to see him.
He looked good a couple days ago, and he's fresh because he didn't pitch yesterday, which could mean Sean Reynolds, through no fault of his own, draws the short end of the straw on a flight to El Paso, trade places with Kyle Hart. I'm not, nothing reported there. Just kind of putting 2 and 2 together as a potential move they could make this morning.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's going to figure into this bullpen.
It could be Cruz going back. He's up as well, but they didn't use him, so he'd be available for long relief as well.
They really don't use him a lot.
I think you have to be prepared
for you have to be prepared. You need somebody in length
in case Kyle Hart, just doesn't. He's not effective, and you have to go to the bullpen early. And if you had Cruz and Morgan both rested and ready to come out and eat, 3 or 4 innings combined, you couldn't ask Sean Reynolds to do that. How many pitches did Sean Reynolds throw yesterday? Let's see.
He was inning in the third?
Yeah, I mean, it's more about the number of pitches than necessarily the number of outs. I mean, if you get him quickly, he only threw 12 pitches, inning in the third. Pretty efficient.
Yeah.
So maybe he stays and Morgan or Cruz goes back. I don't know. We'll see. I would imagine by the end of the show, they've got to kind of start getting the lineup out and perhaps announce the move that they make, since got the early start today at 1:10 with the 12:10 pregame show. But we'll see what they decide to do. But they do have to add Kyle Hart to the roster at some point this morning.
Yeah, for sure. Rory on Twitter says, I bet Reynolds isn't pressing 225, though. And I bet he is. I bet he can bench press 225. I hit my goal yesterday, finally, after 5 months of trying. I had one goal. I just wanted to bench press 225 once in my life, and I did it. Did it yesterday, and it was not that hard at all. I'd been working towards it, but my problem was I tweeted, man, I got 4 plates today, and I was reminded instantly that's not 4 plates. And I said, well, what do you mean? They call that 2 plates. Did you know that? What would you have guessed? Because
I would have said 4.
225 is 40. 245s on each side. How many plates did I just put on the bar?
4.
Correct.
How many did your trainer put on the bar?
He put on 4.
You didn't do it yourself.
No, absolutely not.
You saved all of your energy to actually lift them. How many times did you lift it?
Once. Yeah. That's all. I mean, that was trying my 1 rep max.
So 1 rep max. Yeah. Now, if you were doing like a set, like two or 3 sets of 10, what would the weight be on those?
Well, it's funny because it used to be like 135, but now I can rep. No, this is boring for everyone. I can reps at like 185, which is much better.
That's impressive. Yeah.
But I'd always wanted to do 225. It's that magical. It's the combine weight that those guys get on there. They're like clang, 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 clang. Oh, you did it 46 times. You're like, oh my God. I just wanted to be able to do it once. I wanted to be able to do it one time.
So on the scouting report, combine scouting report for Stephen Woods, reps
1
on the bench press at 225. Stephen Woods gets a 1.
That's right. Got it up once. I was so excited when it was over because I was so stressed out about it because I'd been gradually moving up, and I'm like, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And I was like, no, get your head right. You can do this. And surprisingly, I got up once, and he goes, I almost told you to go for another one. I go, I could have gotten it. I absolutely could have gotten another one. So felt pretty happy about that yesterday. And then I tweeted it, and they're like, no, dummy, that's not 4 plates. That's 2 plates. Like, but there's 4 on there. Make it make sense to me.
I mean, if you only had 1 plate, it would be extremely lopsided.
Yeah.
You couldn't, you'd kind of be on tipping one way or the other. So
why do they call it 2 and not 4?
It's because it's on the one side. You only have 2
plates.
Yeah,
but you don't lift one side.
What if you have?
No, I know that, but it's you. Of course, you have to equal it out. But it's 2 plates on the one side of the bar. So that's how you.
What do they call it?
You count how many. You don't count the total. You count how many's on one end of the bar.
Why do they do that?
Because it's kind of a given that it's the other side's going to be the same unless you're a psycho.
If you give me 4 plates of pizza, You didn't give me 2 plates of pizza. You gave me 4. I'm not. Oh, this is on the right side of the table. That's how many. If you give me 4 plates of pizza,
so
I have 4,
each plate is
45, and the bar is 45.
So 90 plus 90 is 180 plus 45 is 225. Now, what happens when you have like a 45 plate, but then a smaller plate? Because you got to go in between. You can't just jump straight from 1 plate to 2 plates.
I
you
went
got
185, 205.
So they put like the 20s
the
or the smaller ones. What do you say? 1.5 plates or?
I don't know. What do you say then?
How do you say it when you're in between the plates?
So my buddy DM me, he goes, "Hey, it's kind of a bummer to realize the next big milestone is like 405."
You'll never get there.
No, I won't even try.
So are you done? You've accomplished your goal, and now you no longer have to work out anymore.
I want 250.
Okay, so you set new goals. That's good. You always have to, set the bar,
set
even
the literal
away.
bar, but only half of the bar because that's all that counts.
Right.
You don't when they say set the bar high, what they mean is set half of the bar high because that's all that they count is half of a bar.
Now, do you do this early in the workout before you burn yourself out?
Yeah.
And then,
Did a bunch of I did a bunch of stuff before it, but it wasn't upper body. But I was very proud to get it up. Felt good to get it up.
Are we just not doing phrasing anymore?
No,
okay.
I do all kinds of interesting phrasing. 2 people helping spot, each puts on 2 plates. I don't get it. 3 plates is 315. Is that right?
Yeah, another 90.
Another 90.
That would be 3
That
plates.
would be a bit ambitious.
315.
315 will never happen. That's never going to happen. And I don't even think you can count anything until you put it extra. They don't count like, I put it 2.5 pound and I got 230. I don't think they count those. But that was good, man. Felt pretty good to do that. And it's nice to set a goal and accomplish it. And I was very, very happy about it yesterday. But of course, I blew it on Twitter. But that happens.
I wouldn't have known. I would have said 4 plates because that's a total of 4 plates.
Correct.
All right. You can set a goal to try to win another game of Take on Woods. You had a tie yesterday, so chance for you to qualify out there for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas. In our next segment, we will play our musical trivia challenge. If you want to give us a call, 833-288.
I hate Twitter.
0973. What happened?
Pooch says just 1 rep. Yeah, it's a 1 rep max. That's what I was trying to do.
It's a personal max.
I hate it here.
I mean, when you watch those
just 1 rep,
those bodybuilding.
Bro, I'm 49 years old. I was maxing out at like 135. I'm very happy.
On the weightlifting competition, they just got to get it up once, and that's their score. Like whatever the heaviest you can possibly lift one time. They're not. I mean, I'm sure there are competitions where reps are involved, but you're going for your 1 max and putting as much weight as possible on it.
That's right. And I could have gotten more. I could have gotten another one.
Next time.
Very sore. Very sore. I got to go back today.
All right, 833-288-0973. You want to play a little Take on Woods? We'll get to that coming up in our next segment. Just a reminder, Friday is our manager's report with Mike Schultz.
Hey, boy.
They win today. They will carry a 4-game winning streak into that manager's report because there's no game tomorrow. So you can tune in Friday morning at 9 a.m. here on Ben and Woods. The manager's report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
See, I was keeping it soft since 1975, and now I'm trying to get it hard.
Not your water.
By lifting. Right.
Phrasing.
Right. Phrasing.
All right, we will take a quick time out. We'll come back with Take on Woods. I see some callers calling in. Get to our game coming up next after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I'm going to tell you about Prize Picks, which is daily fantasy. It's my daily fantasy spot. I've been doing it for almost the past year now and really enjoying it because I can set my lineups as often as I like. I usually do 1 or 2 a week, but some people play multiple lineups every day. You can make it work for you. That's why they say you can run your own game with Prize Picks. And with Prize Picks, you're just setting lineups between 2 and 6 players on their stat projections. You're picking more or less. So if you're watching the NBA, you may say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, more or less than 28.5 points. And you put that in a lineup, you can put another basketball player in, you can put baseball players in and win up to 2,000 times your money by setting your lineup correctly with Prize Picks. And right now, When you download the Prize Picks app and use our code KWFN, you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. With Prize Picks, it's easy to play. It's easy to deposit and withdraw money from your account, whether it's Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, multiple ways to do it. It's fast, safe, and easy. I've done it multiple times both ways. No problems at all. I get my money back in about 15 minutes when I request it. Very simple. So make sure you use that code KWFN at Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
sign, to me at least, that even though players will tell you they don't pay attention to fans and social media and what they're saying, hey, we're just trying to win every game. Don't, outside noise does not permeate this clubhouse. At least some of them are watching you out there. And I'm talking about Padres Twitter in particular. They hear you. And they have permeated. You have permeated into some of their brains.
How so?
I'll hold it on the tees. We'll get to it. We got Take on Woods coming up, though. I got a bunch of contestants on the line ready to play our game.
So titillated.
And we will get to that after we play our game of Take on Woods right now. Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And we got a ton of callers, but it is our friend Roger who got in first with Frank. Roger, just in time at the end of May to try to get your name in for our grand prize drawing. How have you been?
I am good. Good morning from Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Enjoy some country music. Maybe it'll be a country music category for you today. Actually, it's not. Here are your choices for your categories. Well, first, let me tell you what the prize is and remind everybody what you're playing for. If you can beat or tie Woods, you will qualify for the grand prize trip to Las Vegas, tickets to see Bruno Mars at Dolby Live at the Park MGM on September 3rd, 2-night stay at the Park MGM, and a $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All right, the categories are Luck O' the Irish, 5 song titles, artists with an O apostrophe in the name. When Is Now, all 2-second songs beginning with when. And Talking to the Divine, these are 5 song titles with the word prayer in their title. So Luck O' the Irish, When Is Now, or Talking to the Divine. Roger?
Let's go Luck O' the Irish.
Luck O' the Irish. Thank you. This one's been
and
sitting
I'm
there.
sorry, give Woods the category.
I will let Woods know. Yeah, Roger likes to play straight up. So today's category features 5 song titles or artists that all have the very Irish O apostrophe somewhere in their name. You'll have 60 seconds. Answer as many if you can. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question that Frankie is queuing up is our 2-second song. You need to give me both the song title and the artist to score the point. Roger, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, Frankie, you good to go?
No, because YouTube ads and ad blockers don't work.
All right, just give him a second to call up the Paulie does it a different way. You can do whatever is comfortable with you, Frankie. But we need to get the 2-second song queued up. All right, he says he's good to go. All right, 60 seconds on the clock, Roger. The category is Luck O' the Irish. Your time begins when Frank plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Baba O'Reilly, The Who.
Correct. Which Irish artist sparked a controversy in 1992 when she tore up a picture?
Sinead O'Connor.
Correct. A warm-up exercise for guitarist Slash became the basis for which Guns N' Roses
Sweet
song?
Child O' Mine.
Correct. Which 1970s R&B group found success with For the Love of Money, Love Train?
The OJs.
Correct. The O was replaced by a peace sign on the cover of which 1980s.
Sign of the Times.
Wow. That was you destroyed that. I didn't even get to read all the questions. All right, Roger, you got in, and you certainly earned it at the end of the month. Now it just comes down to whether Woods can match all of those answers that you gave. Baba O'Reilly, Sinead O'Connor, Sweet Child of Mine. He's coming in. I won't give any more answers. All right, Roger's score is locked in. He likes to play straight up, as you know.
I love Roger for that, too.
So the category today is Luck O' the Irish.
Luck of the Irish.
All song titles and artists with an O apostrophe in their name.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Frank, you ready? Your time begins when Frank plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Roger.
That's Baba O'Reilly by The Who.
Correct. Which Irish artist sparked a controversy in 1992 when she tore up a picture of the
Sinead
Pope?
O'Connor.
Correct. A warm-up exercise for guitarist Slash became the basis.
Sweet Child O' Mine.
Correct. Which 1970s R&B group found success with For the Love of Money, Love Train, and other hits?
The OJs.
Correct. The O was replaced by a peace sign on the cover of which 1987 Prince album?
Sign O' the Times.
Oh, you both nailed that. 5-5. An absolute masterpiece of a performance by both Roger and Woods today. as Roger qualifies, but you both played very well.
Feel good
on that category. Sign or luck the Irish.
Weightlifters would tell me I got 5 right, but actually it's only
10,
3. No, it's
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, that's how that goes.
All right, Roger, Frank will get your info probably already in our system. You're in, though, for the drawing now at the end of May. Congratulations to you.
We're coming up on that date.
And if you're not a musically inclined contestant, we'll have a game of Real or Fake tomorrow to get you a chance to qualify for the grand prize trip to Las Vegas as well.
Got Kluger in tomorrow. He has already promised me, Adam Kluger, our boss, he's going to be filling in for Paulie. Well, he's going to be filling in for Frank, who's filling in for Paulie. And he's promised me, I promise I'll be very chipper. Not going to sit
engaging,
not hiding with his hoodie, looking up, Atlanta Falcons offseason offensive installations or whatever it is that he does over there. So he said he's going to be chipper, so we're going to hold him to it.
All right. Well, we'll miss Frankie tomorrow.
I will miss you, Frankie.
It's been a good couple of days.
You've been great, buddy.
All right, we'll come back. How do I know that the Padres are paying attention to you out there, Padres fans on social media? I will tell you when we come back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods is going to tell you a little bit about his friends at QC Kinetics.
I posted the video last night of my bench press, and our buddy Devin said, "Is this an ad for QC Kinetics?" I said, "No, but it might as well be, because I definitely wouldn't have been there without QC Kinetics. They've allowed me to get my life back. Very painful wrists, painful to the touch. Literally stopped me from doing so many things that I love to do. I've told you all about it a million times. If you're suffering from joint pain, the basic message is call QC Kinetics today, 619-614-PAIN. You no longer have to suffer. You will be able to go out and do the things that you love to do. One of our tier ones out there lived in the water, just loved surfing, and because of his back, he couldn't. And saw him at QC Kinetics one time, and he said, "Man, this thing is working for me." And it's just been great. It's been great. There's no way I could have accomplished what I accomplished yesterday without QC Kinetics. Just no chance. Didn't have to tape my wrist, didn't have to put a wrist guard on to do that. I just have strong wrists now. Cellular level treatments. They take, it's regenerative treatments, take your body's own healing power, helps you heal and restore the damaged tissue. Have no idea how my wrists got so jacked up over the years, but kind of comes with age sometimes. So if you're suffering right now, pain in your back, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, whatever it is, give them a call today, 619-614-PAIN. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics at 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
What the fans think, they mostly say the same thing. Don't really pay attention to the outside noise, just focusing on the next game, getting my job done. Doesn't matter what people are saying out there. It only matters what, my teammates think, what my coaches think. We keep it in there. And that's probably a fairly healthy attitude.
Minus the fairly. It's the only way.
If you get too caught up in what the fans are saying, it's probably going to hurt your mental health, and you're never going to please everybody, so don't even try. However, I've always suspected that it's easier said than done, ignoring the outside noise. And I saw a quote in Kevin Acey's newsletter this morning about the Padres that at least made me suspect that some players are actually more attuned to what fans are saying than they will admit. And this came on a discussion of the Padres offense all gelling together and contributing top to bottom last night in their 8-run comeback to beat the Miami Marlins 8-6. And this was a quote specifically from Jackson Merrill. Now, I don't know where he necessarily got this phrasing, but I've seen this phrasing often in Padres social media posts. Last night's rally, you saw, quote, Jackson says, you saw a lot of power of friendship in that game. It wasn't just one or two big hits that got us back in it. There was consistently singles, taking advantage of mistakes, exposable moments. Power of friendship is something certainly not exclusive to Padres social media and Twitter, but it's something I've seen a lot. People talking about it. Our friend Tom Giannis on Twitter often calls
power of friendship
a
inning.
4 or 5 run inning with a lot of singles, a power of friendship inning. And I haven't seen that a lot of other places. Players will usually say, oh, we kept the line moving.
Yep.
We passed the baton. Next man up.
Yeah.
We moved it along. I've never heard a player refer to it before as a power of friendship inning until I saw that quote this morning from Jackson Merrill.
There's been a couple of things recently, and we've talked to Schulte about it before. He doesn't do social media, But there's a couple of little inferences where he's like, listen, many people may think that, our offense isn't built a certain way. You saw it last night. He said it in his post game last night, talking about, a lot of people, want us to do this, but this is the better version of the Padres. And I think that I don't know how it creeps in, but it creeps in somehow. Jackson Merrill's a young kid. Wouldn't surprise me at all to find out he has a burner account and it looks for his name and his highlights after a game. It really wouldn't.
Definitely a younger thing as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd be more expecting it from a 22-year-old as opposed to from, Manny Machado.
Yeah, he doesn't care what you say. Trust me. Like that he could not care less what you think about him. And doesn't actively go searching out for it. Would probably drive him nuts if he did. And I think that would be the case. And of course, there's those athletes that they do it and they respond, and it stands out when they do. When Saquon Barkley responds, or when Kevin Durant is the most notorious, you see it and you're like, yikes, not a good look. They're humans too. And words hurt them, words bother them, they get under their skin, which is, it happens to me, it happens to all of us.
There are a few that I have covered that seem to be able to balance media, fans, and still performing on the field at the same time. But it takes a really good head on your shoulders.
Brent Rooker's really good at it. Vinny Pasquantino's pretty good at it for the Royals. There's some guys that are pretty good. Like if I'm Mookie Betts,
Blake Snow was a little up and down. Like he kind of did it well at times, but then other times maybe it got to him a little bit mentally. I'm not sure.
Like if I was Mookie Betts and I saw the discourse going around Dodger Twitter, which I saw yesterday. I mean, they were cannibalizing each other over again. Mookie Betts, one of the best players of his generation, period.
And least controversial. Really well accepted to be a really good guy.
The guy that, like, he's a 3-time champion, plays well in October, does all the things right.
Won an MVP.
Watching
does
Dodger
what his
fans,
team asks him, moves around.
Yeah, whatever whatever needs
very
to be
little
done.
to criticize.
Of course.
Other than the normal guys go through slumps.
Yeah, I'm watching them cannibalize it. Well, you need to move him back to the outfield. This is the quote I saw. He's working too hard on his defense, and it's taking away from his offense. And I just go, you guys are the worst fan base in sports. It's not close. You're out of your minds. That's Mookie Betts. Again, every team, for the most part, has probably, if you're lucky, you got 3 or 4 guys that you just don't work yourself into a tizzy over. When I look at the San Diego Padres, there are guys that I look at and I go, I'm not worried about him. He'll figure it out. If he hasn't already, he will get there. And if he doesn't, that's an outlier. If he has a really bad year, Manny's one of those guys. Tatis is one of those guys. Hell, Jackson Merrill is one of those guys. Luis Ariz, I don't worry about them, Ben. Do they perform at 100% of capability every time? No, they don't, because that's what that sport breeds. I just don't worry about him too much. I worry that Elias Diaz isn't going to hit enough to start. I worry that, Brandon Lockridge is not going to, be a long-term solution in left field. I think those are viable concerns. I worry about Xander Bogaerts, to be honest. But I don't worry about some of those other guys. If I was a Dodger fan, you know who I wouldn't worry about? Mookie Betts. He may be number one for me. Freddie's got the ankle. Shohei's really great, but is he going to hurt himself pitching? How's that going to? I'd be a little bit worried about that. His offensive production's through the roof. I wouldn't worry about Mookie Betts. So if I'm him looking at Twitter, I'm like, these guys, a bunch of ingrates. That's how I'd feel.
I do have to remind myself that the criticism online and social media, at least I believe, still tends to be the minority. As loud as it is,
Sure.
and it's what you see.
It's just what you see.
The vast majority of the fan base, usually quiet. They may not be on social media at all. They're just watching the games. They're going to the games. They're cheering. They're enjoying it. Pretty positive and kind of worship the players and think they're amazing and awesome. And there's actually a lot you could take of that. If I was a player and if I knew I had the support of tens of thousands of people that just want me to do well, just enjoy watching me play and they want me to do well, I could take strength from that. But it also requires the mental fortitude to tune out the, 10, 15%, whatever it is, but the really loud and aggressive critics who you will get when you are in the public spotlight, certainly as a professional athlete, even to a lesser extent, the job that we do. We take it, sometimes on social media, and I tend to also ignore it, but I see it. I don't not see the comments that are made online about
your hair
plugs. My hair plugs. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. I know what the truth is, and I'm comfortable with it. And Jackson Merrill, if you take positive, power of friendship's a great thing. That's a positive thing for the team. It's a positive way of framing what they have done early this season. If Jackson can take that and incorporate it into whatever his own thinking is about, how the Padres want to play baseball, great. And if it comes from the fans or not, doesn't matter. That's a positive thing. So I thought it was interesting that was the particular phrasing that he used after the game last night.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And again, there's guys on that team that definitely know what's being said. I doubt any of them would listen to the show. I think if they did, they'd be, generally pretty pleased. I bet Schilt doesn't listen. Again, you don't want to read all that stuff. You don't, especially if you're going good. Honestly, either way. Like if you're going really well, reading how great you are, yeah, I don't know, man. And I honestly, I wonder as it pertains to Fernando Tatis Jr., who did have a much better night last night. Telling you, man, I watched him uncork 2 throws, Ben. Didn't get an out on either of them, but my God, were they impressive. The one to third to Manny and the one to home, that the really speedy runner beat it out. Absolutely on the money, engaged, fired up, ready to go, still doing his thing. And Dennis wrote a piece about him
in the Athletic. Yes. And I want to talk about it because he opened up, Fernando opened up a little bit about his recent struggles, more than he has in the last couple of weeks. And we'll get to that after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Sedano Ford. Got a few problems here. Westbound 54 at National City Boulevard, crash being moved over to the right shoulder. Accident has cleared on the Federal Boulevard on-ramp to westbound King Freeway. Northbound 15 before Friars Road, we are getting reports of some mud or other slippery stuff in the roadway causing some vehicles to swerve. Looks like a traffic alert's been issued for you there. That's northbound 15 before Friars. Also collision in the North County, westbound 78 before San Marcos Boulevard. This Memorial Day at local and veteran-owned Sedano Ford, you have choices to make. Choose the Escape Active or Bronco Sport Big Bend for only $219 a month. Plus, Sedano Ford's mobile service will come to your home or work at no extra charge. Get all the details now at sedanoford.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So, obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. has been in a fairly major slump. By some metrics, probably one of the 2 worst slumps he's been in his career. Showed some signs of breaking it out of it last night with the home run and 2 hits. First 2-hit game in a while. First home run in a while for Fernando Tatis Jr. After the game, though, he was definitely willing to be a little more forthcoming in a piece from our Padres Linsider from the Athletic, Dennis Lynn. He said, Tatis was asked how of the recent skid, is it more mental or mechanical, do you believe? And here's what Fernando said, quote, good combination of both. Obviously, you miss your pitches, and then pitches outside the strike zone get called strikes, and then you're trying to defend yourself. It was just a lot of stuff coming together, and what happens when you're going through a rough stretch. But you try to stay positive, try to figure it out, what's going on with you mechanically and mentally at the same time, because it's a really good combination of both. It is something to remember that, we're just talking about dealing with fans and the media. All of these guys are human beings. And when a couple of things start snowballing, in a bad direction, it is really hard to stop that momentum going in the wrong direction. You just start feeling like the calls are going against you. Okay, well, now I got to protect. What does that mean? Well, there's a fine line between protecting and chasing. Like, I don't want to get called out on a strike that is an inch below the plate, so I better swing at that. But now you find yourself, now I'm swinging at pitches that are 2 or 3 inches below the plate because I've gotten out of the right headspace where I am. And it sounds like Fernando feels like just a bunch of things just started kind of piling up all at the same time, and it resulted in pretty bad slump from his perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we act every year. We cover baseball together for a long time, and we, along with the fan base, we all act every year like slumps are new. Like when they happen, we're like, what is happening? This guy's not hitting. I mean, guys, this happens every single. This blew my mind. Did you know this? Jesse said it on the broadcast. Manny didn't hit his 6th home run till June 9th or 6th or something last year. Everyone's talking about Manny Machado's power slump and how it's fallen off the map, and I'm going. I'm guilty as charged. What's wrong with Manny? Why isn't he driving the ball out of the ballpark? The exact same thing happened last year. Are you kidding me? With recency bias is real.
So
and ended up with 29 bombs.
When he was at 3 a week ago, that was very odd for Manny to be only at 3.
But again, if you get to June 6th and you have the same number, what was the difference in last season's first 2 months and this?
Manny's actually much hotter this season
no
than
doubt.
he was last year. Yeah.
Are they just did he space them out better? The 6 home runs that he hit from April 1st to June 6th last year.
I think
different?
I think we actually just last year knew Manny was coming off the elbow.
Yeah.
And
so you gave him a little bit of a
reprieve.
And
he was off to kind of a slow start, but we kind of just expected that and thought he'll heat up in the second half of the season, which he did.
He did. But why would you think a healthy Manny won't heat up in the second half of the season, which he's done pretty much his entire career?
Well, he can't heat up any more than he's already been really, really hot.
Right.
And the home runs weren't coming. I think that's almost spun fans out more than a struggling Manny not hitting home runs.
But again,
it's a hot Manny not hitting home runs that have people actually worried about it.
But again, like you look at Petco Park and where he plays and some of the balls that he's hit. I mean, the one he had last night, that ball's a home run in July. I mean, no question about it. Like, I think the people that watch every day go, man, I'll take a guy batting, 330 or 320 with an OPS over 1,000 in the month of May. If he hits some homers, that would be sick. And it's great when he does. But you also know when this guy gets going, they come in bunches. So I'm not too worried about that. But again, to have the same numbers as you did last year, we act every year like this is some new phenomenon. Fernando slumping, Manny not having the hottest start power-wise.
I had the thought last night because you said it, and Jesse was going through the back of the baseball curve. What do you say? Death, taxes, and 30 home runs for Manny Machado.
Yeah.
One of these years, it's not going to happen.
Sure.
He's not going to hit 30, but until it does, we really need to stop panicking about Manny Machado.
Yeah.
Every year. I mean, we'll go in next year. I thought, let's remember this next year. When Manny has, 6 or 7 home runs in late May, let's not all go through this every single year. Let's just skip it next year and just know, when Manny says the back of my baseball card is going to look pretty similar, that he's probably right. And we need to really chill out a little bit when it comes to Manny Machado, because as it heats up and, he's already hot now, it does feel like he's definitely going to, if not get to his normal 30, might even be more at the end of the year. Or if it's not, the overall numbers, the OPS with the doubles
better,
and everything might look better overall than it might be. End up being his best season with the San Diego Padres. And remember, he finished second or third in MVP voting a couple of years ago. And this is similar or better than that, the start that he's off to this year.
And Michael G says, you don't put any stock into Eno saying on this show he needs to pull the ball more. No, he does if he wants to hit more home runs. I mean, the ball he hit last night, had he pulled it, it's 50 rows.
2
up.
of the 3 home runs that he hit in the last 5 days were pulled.
Yeah.
One of them was the other way.
Oppo. Yeah. So again, if he wants to, but again, I'll take the shots to right center gap. I'll take Manny, being a good hitter and not just a power hitter. Because again, when this lineup is clicking and everyone's doing their job, as you saw last night, it can be a thing of beauty. He's not, I think he got, he didn't go on that K, did he?
Oh, on the check swing?
Did he go?
He got called out.
Did he get called out
on strikes? Yeah, it was about 2 inches outside.
Yeah, it was bad.
He didn't go, but it was a bad call by Quinn Walcott.
I'll get another one.
Yeah, you should have lit him up to that one.
I did. That's interesting.
We've got an hour still to go here with Ben and Woods. More from. By the way. Yeah, Woods' is spirit animal on the East Coast when it comes to Dodgers glazing.
This is great.
Just found him. We got some audio for you coming up next here on The Fan. on the commercial
that was
screen,
my bad.
so I just wanted to make sure people could see us talking.
Ken Rosenthal wrote an article yesterday about the awful Washington Nationals and how terrible they are and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like everyone around baseball kind of feels like they're a team on the come that have made some fairly savvy moves by getting rid of Juan Soto, who they weren't going to re-sign, and getting Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams and James Wood, who looks like a superstar in this league.
But they're not winning.
But they're on the come, right? They weren't supposed to win.
They were
right now.
Yeah. This is probably at the time that they were supposed to start their winning.
Well, I think the arrow is pointing up. But what I'm saying, my overarching theme here isn't it's Nationals bad, Dodgers great. Always. And again, it doesn't matter that they sign injury-riddled pitchers and then put them on the IL. It doesn't matter that they've got 4 teams starting rotations on the IL. Everything they do is so smart. Everything they do is so great. And I think that's the thing where you're like, hey, man, let's get a little bit more fair and balanced here. Because by all accounts, Ben, how many, in your professional opinion, how many World Series should Dave Roberts have on his hands?
4.
At least, right? 4. Right? How many does he have? He's got 1.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's call it what it is. And so I saw this yesterday and I had to laugh because it was nice to know that there is a person on the East Coast that feels the same.
Well, I wondered, if we just noticed it the most
because
we're on the West Coast and we're
same
rivals
division,
with the Dodgers. And if it's just our skin that it gets under, but it isn't. This is filtrated all the way over to New York, and this is Evan Roberts from our sister station WFAN.
National media that takes turns saying everything about the Dodgers that makes you humanly sick. I'm sick of it. We get it. They're great. They won the World Series. Yippity-doo-dah. Everything is about the Dodgers. The Dodgers, the Dodgers, the Dodgers. So and don't insult us by saying the only reason Citi Field was packed is because they played the Dodgers. It's crap. I can sit here and bore you with evidence that it's not true. My anger at the national media that takes turns giving back massages to everybody from Shohei Ohtani to Mookie Betts to the stupid logo on the front of their chest. I hate the Dodgers. I hate them. They are now number 1. Congratulations. This has never happened before. You're number 1 on my hate list. I hate you. I can't stand you. I want you to go down in flames. And Ohtani doesn't even pitch, but he throws batting practice and we freak out. The guy hasn't pitched in a major league game in 2 years. Stop acting like he's a unicorn. Go pitch, and then we'll act like he's a unicorn. Go pitch. He hasn't pitched in 2 years, and we got to hear about it constantly. I hate them. And by hate, you know what I mean. Sports hate. Sports hate them. Sports hate them.
It's a real thing. By all accounts, Ohtani, great guy. But yeah, sports hate is absolutely real. Evan Roberts, I'd like to buy you a soft pretzel from a nice cart on down in Manhattan somewhere. I really would. That was really great. It was really great.
It was a good rant. That's
great
a
rant.
Solid New York sports talk radio rant right there. I thought what resonated with me, though, is because I could hear some uninformed national media member going, when the Dodgers come to Petco Park in a few weeks.
All the time.
Oh, look at how crowded it is. Oh, man, they turn out for the Dodgers. No, they turn out for every series,
for the Marlins,
for every
dude.
opponent. It's sold out almost every game. It's not because the Dodgers are there. And sure, there will be some Dodgers fans because, well, Petco Park's
now
a great experience. And of course, they want to come down and you will see some of them at the games.
It's so funny to me.
It's not why Petco Park is sold out. It's not why people are showing up to Citi Field. Mets are really good.
Mets are good.
Won 4 in a row. They're second place in the NL East. They got a World Series contender. So do the Padres. And they don't need the Dodgers' help to sell tickets.
Correct. And haven't in a while.
Some big news in Major League Baseball that's just breaking here in the last 30 minutes or so. The Houston Astros have announced that pitcher Ronel Blanco is going to undergo season-ending elbow surgery and will return, quote, sometime in the 2026 season. So they didn't say Tommy John, but the implication is it probably is a 12-month type recovery because they didn't say he'll be ready to pitch in time for the 2026 season. He will return sometime in 2026. So that is a huge loss for the Houston Astros. That guy's nasty.
Yeah, he's really, really good. And yeah, big one. I mean, you lose an ace like that. That's tough. Somehow the Astros will have somebody to come up and fill issues.
They do a good job of it for sure.
They do, but you never hear about that.
But
they're not in LA.
That just came a social media post from the Astros. Just kind of announcing a press release, and it is always the fear of if you're a fan of a contender, the last thing you want to see is major injury news to one of your top pitchers. And right now, as a Padres fan base, you have to be somewhat concerned with Michael King. The Padres are certainly trying to keep everybody sane and calm, and they're not saying anything that would, inflame the rhetoric of, what Michael King is dealing with his scapula injury.
That's for us to do.
But they also
inflame the rhetoric.
They also aren't providing any answers. And, and I don't know that they have any answers. We've got audio. This is what Mike Schilt had to say about the very unusual Michael King scapula injury that landed him on the injured list from before yesterday's game.
I know it's still early with everything with Michael King, but is there any update on him?
There's really not. I know he's going to get, again, we're in a little bit of uncharted territory. This isn't a very common, thing that takes place. So our crack medical team, which are amazing, are working with our team doctors, which are also amazing, and some experts just to figure out exactly what's going on. And, he's getting some incremental improvement. So from what I understand, clearly improvement is important initially and anytime somebody gets injured or hurt, but I think it's especially important with this particular, what he's dealing with. And so that's encouraging more so. But yeah, we're doing some testing, further testing, getting some really qualified people and experts in the field for this to look at it. And we'll know more hopefully sooner than later, but that's all we know at the moment.
Frank, how long was that soundbite from Mike Schilt? Do you have a running time?
57 seconds.
57 seconds in which he said essentially nothing at all. They don't know anything. They really have no clue as to why Michael King would have an injury there. It's not something that other pitchers have ever really developed. The going theory, he slept on it, funny. And, for one day, that's fine. Okay, we all understand not feeling quite right because we slept on something funny. It starts to stretch. That doesn't seem like that would be an injury that would keep you out for 3 weeks because you slept on something funny. That's a day or so, and then you get back to feeling how you were. So now you assume something else caused it, and sleeping on it may have just alerted you to the problem.
Potentially. Yeah. I'm concerned as hell about that. I'll be honest with you. Without Michael King in this rotation, I don't know how far we go. I really don't. You can piece together for a week or two. Most teams are faced with that, multiple times a season. You piece it together for a couple starts. But if Michael King is hurt long-term, Ben, our prospects, the odds have got to come down considerably of being a playoff team or a playoff contender.
It's certainly a concerning issue, but I'll push back
quickly. Captain says, good question to ask the skipper Friday. Yeah, again, it was just asked. He didn't say anything. I'll absolutely ask him that question.
I do have another a 2-minute
Is there more
clip here? Yeah, also, if you want to.
Yeah,
Michael King.
Yes.
Okay.
Look forward to it, Frank. Whenever you play.
What, from your understanding, is what's uncommon?
It's on mute. Shut up.
It's just more, in the scap area. It's not overly structural. So we're trying to figure out what's taking place with it, and so to the fact that we're still diagnosing it makes it uncommon.
Is there any understanding of how it came about? Is that's part
scary.
of it?
I literally slept on it wrong and woke up, and he played catch, threw great, as we do. One of the things we do well, the industry does well, but we do especially well is we create really strong baselines and understanding, and are constantly testing and sort of aware of players' flexibility, their strength, now the stuff during the course of games, release heights and, spin rates and what their bullpens look like. And so we track all that extremely well, use it very effectively. To the point I'm getting at is all of us tracking in a very good place for Michael and has been quite candid. He said he's been here, and there's been some modifications and some improvement to it that he gets the credit for. But so the day before it was like all systems go, and the next morning wakes up and he's dealing with what he's dealing with. So
all right, I'm good with this. So we had a 1 minute clip in which he said nothing. We now have a 2 minute clip in which he said nothing. Care to go for a 4 minute clip of Mike Schilt just going on about the systems in place?
That man's doing his job, Vince. That man is doing his job, period, the end.
They don't know. That's
the scary part.
I want to push back on fans, though, who think there's a major conspiracy theory.
No, they don't know. They have no idea.
There's nothing really to hide. They just don't know the answer here. And, they're trying to be optimistic. What good does it do to tell us one thing only to then 3 days later? Well, it turns out we knew all along that he was out for the season, but hey, if we could delay that news for 3 days, that's really going to serve us well. It's not. It doesn't matter. I mean, if they knew he was gone, they're going to let us know that he's out. They just don't know right now what's going on. I did get the sense when he said it's not something structural. So a lot of obviously injuries that pitchers suffer are in ligaments and connective tissue, oftentimes in the elbow, but there's also the labrum in the shoulder, which is a connective tissue. That phrase, you can't strengthen that. Muscles can be strengthened. Those guys are all strong. They work out. You can't strengthen ligaments and tendons and labrums and stuff. This is not that, though. This is the scapula is a big old muscle over your shoulder. The scap. I don't like when he calls it the scap. Just call it the scapula. That's not something generally, a pitcher would tear or they overuse. And this is very common. You used him too much and now he's got a scap injury. No, this is not something other pitchers have ever dealt with. They've never seen. So they're operating without a manual. And that's what's interesting here. Because all, the doctors and the trainers, they're all going on. Well, okay, we saw 17 other pitchers who had this similar injury. Here's how long it takes to come back from. Here's what we do to treat it. We ice, we do whatever, heat, treatment, and we can expect to come back at, this amount of time. They don't have a book on this. Like we don't really know what a scap injury does. Could you be back in 3 days? Maybe. Could you be out 4 months? We don't really know because we don't have a lot of data on what it takes and what causes this injury and how to come back from this injury.
Is it possible they're load managing, which I think would be a very ballsy move?
It is possible.
Which many people think that's what the Dodgers are doing. They're just load managing their pitchers and getting them ready for the playoffs. And I mean, it's not even a risk really for them.
I don't think so because
we can't afford it. We don't have a glut of starters.
Yeah, and also they wouldn't have, surprised Sean Reynolds with a start. If they were load managing, they would have told a couple days before, they would have said, Michael King's probably going to go on the IL. It's minor scapula issue, and they would have called someone up. They wouldn't have put their bullpen in a bad situation. This was unexpected, I think, to the Padres. I believe that it was unexpected.
Michael says scapula is a bone, not a muscle. Is that right?
It must be the scapula is a bone. It's your scapula bone, but I don't think it's I think it's a muscular issue with, what would that be?
I don't know.
Deltoid?
I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor
I don't
either.
like even pretending to be one on the radio.
They're certainly referring to it as a muscular injury, even though they're calling it the scap.
How does one pull a bone?
I don't think you can pull a bone. I don't think he has a bone injury. If it was a bone injury, they take an X-ray and they go, "Oh, your bone's broken." Can't otherwise. I don't think that's the only way you can injure a bone is by breaking.
Maybe it got hurt in the scuffle. Remember the scuffle in Toronto, the fake scuffle. By the way, that talking Bossa Bell made its way into the front office of the Padres. By the way, they were getting asked about the fake fight that happened from a parody account that tweeted it out. It got all the way up to the front office. People were like calling and texting, going, "Hey, was there really a fight?" No, it was a parody account. We talked to Josh Stein about it. He told us, he's like, dude, I had to answer so many questions about that fake account on Twitter. I'm like, so did we, my friend. So did we.
AI says the scapula is the bone that connects the humerus, your upper arm, with your clavicle, which is your collarbone. Okay. Why does my scapula hurt? Scapula pain can stem from a variety of causes.
Lay it on me.
Muscle strains, overuse to more serious issues like bone and joint problems, or even referred pain from other areas. Poor posture.
Ooh.
Michael King have poor posture?
It doesn't seem like it.
I don't know.
Well, listen.
Could be a heart attack.
Potentially.
That would be bad. Have you checked his EKG lately?
I
lung problems.
Man, it's getting more serious by the second. Maybe you should stop fanning the flames here. Hopefully he is back healthy soon. I really enjoy watching Michael King pitch, and I enjoy Michael King as a human. That's where I will leave it. I don't like speculating on these.
Yeah, he's the probably player they can least afford to lose for a major period of time.
You're not kidding. I just said if you lose him, I just feel like your chances will be severely tested. So hopefully everything comes back fine and he's good to go.
All right, we're going to take a time out. When we come back, it is decision day.
Oh boy.
For one Miles Bird. Can impact greatly San Diego State's basketball season next year. We'll get to that coming up after a check of traffic. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Before traffic, though, we'll remind you that you don't have to sit in a ton of traffic to drive down to 7 Mile Casino. It's a quick drive down the 5 freeway in Chula Vista. You get off west side of the freeway on Bay Boulevard, and you pull in. It's right there. You actually have views of San Diego Bay and Coronado from their back patio. There's windows, so it's light, it's airy. It's not a dingy, dark, smoke-filled, slot-filled machine filled casino.
Slot machine filled.
It's a card room.
It's a card room. Go sit and play some California-style blackjack. Have a great time doing it. Best part, just 7 minutes from downtown, right there off the 5. And you park, you walk in, California-style blackjack table. Boom, right in the face. Right when you walk in the door, off to your right will be the Texas Hold'em area. And then Pai Gow and Baccarat kind of sprinkled around the bar area. Got a great patio to watch the sunset or sunrise. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So check it out for yourself, my friends. You will not be disappointed. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Imagination.
Correct.
So stop worrying about Michael King.
We have Kyle Hart.
Yes, and we do have Kyle Hart. The Padres have officially recalled left-handed pitcher Kyle Hart from AAA El Paso and optioned left-handed pitcher Omar Cruz to El Paso.
Just comes up here to hang out. I saw
he
him
got to warm up yesterday.
He caught the first pitch also. I didn't see that. I saw that. I call you up again. All right, what am I doing, man? Am I going to get in the game? No, you're going to catch the first pitch. Going to need you to go out and collect the spare balls from batting practice as well.
Good for Sean Reynolds and Hannah Nancaro.
Yes,
Sean Reynolds gets to stick around. His handsome face gets to remain in the Padres bullpen for now.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk quickly. Big day for the Aztecs. Today is the day that draft eligible players who have declared have to make their decision by 11:59 p.m. tonight. Miles Byrd will have to say one way or another. If he's staying in the draft, he will no longer be eligible to return to San Diego State, or he can announce he is going to return to the Aztecs for his junior season next year. Brian Dutcher, I saw some video yesterday. He was talking, I believe, to an alumni group in Mission Valley. Still thinks it's 50-50, one way or the other. Doesn't know exactly which way he was leaning. He said that Miles Byrd was working with the Charlotte Hornets yesterday, private workout. I'm sure he's trying to get some more information. I think they have 2 picks like in the 30s, which would be like early second round. So if they said, yeah, we're probably going to take you and give you a guaranteed deal, maybe he leans towards the NBA draft. If they think, yeah, we like you, but maybe another year of seasoning might serve you well, then he may end up with the decision to return to San Diego State for next year.
And one thing that Miles Byrd does not lack is confidence.
That's
He's
true.
one of the most confident players that maybe has ever come through. He's extremely, extremely confident. So, Ben, you can rest assured, whatever decision he makes will be the right one for him. He will be, if he comes back, he will be hair on fire. If he goes to the NBA, he will be hair on fire, trying to get better, trying to improve. I wish him so well. I really like Miles Byrd. I love Miles Byrd. I know that last year offensively wasn't really probably what he imagined for himself. And I know he had an injury that definitely hampered him, but I love that kid, man. That kid is all heart. And whatever he does, he will be successful at.
We talked about it last week. It's such a different decision now than it used to be 5-10 years ago because of NIL. For a guy who, has a chance to go pro and make whatever money, even if it was just, a couple $100,000, say, well, that's a couple $100,000 I would not have been making in college. But all of a sudden, it's not the same equation. With NIL money and a guy, even at San Diego State, a guy like Miles Byrd can make a few $100,000 playing college basketball next season. All of a sudden, playing in the G League is not nearly as an attractive option. Maybe it gets you to the NBA faster. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe being a star in college gets you to the NBA faster, gets you to a first-round pick next year with a guaranteed contract. And, when a team takes you with the first-round pick, they feel more of an obligation, like, hey, we got to get this guy up here and we are investing more in you. It might make more sense now to wait, make some more money in college, and then hope you go in the first round next year rather than, hey, I just want to impress them as a second round pick, show them how hard I work. But you kind of get sometimes lost and disappear playing in those, you can play in Oceanside up at, for the, the San Diego Clippers, which is great. Good competition. That's a high level of basketball. And, you're one injury away from getting called up to the NBA, but you may also just sit there and rot for a couple of years and you go, man, I could have been playing in front of a packed Viejas Arena with 12,000 fans every night, making good money
doing
and instead, I'm playing in front of, 1,000 people, up here in Oceanside, not on TV. No one's really watching my games. It's a totally different equation now than it used to be.
East County Chris says Byrd definitely isn't ready. Man, I thought the same thing. And I thought it was insane that I figured he would be coming back. He needed another year. But then all I kept seeing, Ben, were highlight reels of Miles Byrd in the showcases and the tryouts and all that everyone was watching. And he played really, really well. And I think upped his stock. I mean, you see it in the NFL draft all the time. Players up their stock with their workouts, their combines, whatever. And I think Miles Byrd was one of the guys that did that. And again, the fact that this is even, if you had told us a year ago, he would be 50-50 right now, or 6 months ago, I would have been like, you're crazy. There's no way. He's coming back. And the fact that he's really seemingly worked his tail off to get where he is now, to have that opportunity is, I think, a testament to who he is as a player and how hard he works.
Yeah, they're, and NBA scouts are less looking for the finished product.
Correct. Well, they're not looking at
this
his
guy
points
put up
per
24 points per game.
No,
because
because
he was, mature and he dominated lesser competition in college. They don't care about that because he's only 6'5" and it's never going to play in the NBA. They'll look at a guy and go, yeah, he's raw and he made a lot of mistakes and, he didn't shoot the ball that well, but
we can
look at his wingspan and look at his jumping ability and we can turn him into a great NBA player. They're not looking at the numbers from college. They're looking at the body, the athleticism, and they're projecting what that could be in a couple of years.
Absolutely. And he's got all those things. So, look, I think selfishly we all want Miles Byrd to come back to San Diego State and see what the kind of a juggernaut this team could be. But
they'll be a good team either way.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
They could potentially be a
great team.
And they'd still have a lot of work to make themselves great and incorporate the new guys with old guys like Miles Byrd. But why wouldn't you have faith in Brian Dutcher to do that?
Sure.
He does it every single year.
Yep.
He takes new guys, he incorporates them into a really, really good team. And I promise you, they're a better team with Miles Byrd than they are without.
Agree.
I hear, hey, Reese Waters will get more playing time. He's coming back. They don't need Miles Byrd. They're a better team with Miles Byrd than they would be without him.
Exactly.
So if he comes back, it's good news for San Diego State next year. We've got one more segment left.
Is it the Italian Paul report?
It is the Italian Paul report.
Yes.
finish
You're
it
talking
up.
about cheese rolling, and I don't even know what that is, but I'm interested.
Cheese rolling?
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Like how you roll loose cannabis. Maybe they're rolling cheese.
I'm thinking of those little baby bells, you know, it's like you
yes. I had
pull
one,
off the wax and then you eat
had
those.
one yesterday.
Those are pretty good. That's coming up in our final segment of Woods. It's next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, let me tell you about my beloved Eco Water. It's just the best thing we've ever done in my home. Got the Eco Water system put in a couple of years ago. Been extremely happy with it. The entire family. They are so hard to please, my family, all of them, up and down the line. This is one thing, and maybe the only thing we all agree on, that Eco Water is simply the best. Their alkaline filters take hydration to the next level. We've got it in the house again. Skin feels better. Coffee tastes better. And Hannah and the kids, the pets, everybody, so much happier because this water is pure and you can taste the difference. Clean water deserves clean air as well. Eco Water SoCal also has state-of-the-art air purification, removes 99.99% of pollutants. We got 3 cats in the house. Very important that you have fresh, clean air. We've got pure water, fresh air, and a happy family, all thanks to Eco Water SoCal. So get a free in-home water test today. You will be not pleasantly surprised at what you see with your free in-home water test if you don't have the Eco Water system. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water for only $9.95 a month by calling 760-350-3338 or go to ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. They've been keeping it soft at Eco Water since 1925. Eco Water, your water should be perfect.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
Our morning commute is wrapping up with a traffic alert northbound 15 before Friars Road. Crews have got the 3 left lanes blocked to clean up some sort of spill. Something similar to mud in the roadway is causing cars to slip around. So yeah, northbound 15, you got to back up to this one right before Friars Road. Fortunately, no other problems on our roads at this time. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Italian poll.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right. All right.
Before you get started, did Kelly Danick say that mud was in the road causing traffic? He's showing YouTube videos of the Blues Brothers to everybody and just slowing down the roadways this morning.
Mud in the streets. Would mud in the streets, not that mud, real mud, would it slow you down?
You've got to be careful when, road conditions are not ideal.
Mud. How did it get there?
I don't know. Was it not obviously no rainstorm or anything?
Yeah, I was driving yesterday, by the way, and somebody's entire front end of their car was in the middle of the freeway.
Oops.
Like the entire license plate and all in the middle. I was like, oh my God. Like
you left something behind.
There's always a part of me, and I know I won't, and I know I shouldn't, but there is always a part of me that wants to pull over, wait for a second, run in and drag it onto the shoulder.
That's
because
how people die.
I know, but somebody's going to hit that thing, and 3 people are going to die. But I'm not brave enough. I'll admit it right now, and I know that I shouldn't. Our buddy Jim, who's was a former highway patrol, he would kill me for even suggesting that. And you listening shouldn't do it either.
Do not ever run out into the freeway.
Correct.
Bad news.
That would be a big don't do this.
It's a big don't do this. But we're on the Italian Paul Report.
Yes, we are. So for said Italian Paul Report, I have 2 football stories before we get to the fun of the cheese rolling. Which one would you rather? Would you rather?
Neither of them, actually.
There's nothing else, man. It's been a slow week.
It has been a slow
Would you
week.
rather the college story first or the NFL story first?
College.
Okay, so the college story.
We actually have a college football team here. So yes.
Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with San Diego State. Well, not directly, at least. The SEC held their spring meetings this week, and Georgia head coach Kirby Smart said the most important topic discussed was the transfer portal. We spoke on the Braden Serpentin show on Friday about the document going around the Power Four conferences looking to band together to set rules and guidelines for themselves with the NIL and the portal. Smart talked about the need for there to be some sort of regulation with the portal and insinuated that the Power Four schools could possibly break away from the NCAA in order to do this. The big quote coming from Smart was, "A lot of people don't even know how it's being decided and who is deciding it." Speaking of the portal.
What's that look like, Benjamin?
For fans, probably not much difference. So, they all operate under some sort of rules that they either follow or ignore, and then they end up with the same four conferences dominating the playoff at the end of the year anyway.
Sure.
So, a little less hope for the smaller guy like San Diego State of the already small hope that they have. What's his problem with the portal? I mean, they just take whoever they want in the portal, and that's how the portal works for big schools. It's the smaller schools that have the portal problems.
But they want the regulation, and especially around NIL and the kids getting paid, which, by the way, we've completely gone away from the fake moniker of student athlete at this point. But that's what it is. It's the amount of pay the NIL
they want to be
is
able
getting.
To steal players, but they don't want to have to offer them so much to steal them.
But they want
the best of both worlds.
But they also don't want kids going in the portal every single year.
Yeah, because that gives them leverage to squeeze more NIL money.
Well, there you go.
That's what they want to.
They hate leverage.
They want to keep their own players. They want to steal other teams' players, and they don't want to pay them as much as they're having to pay them to do both things. I do see Kirby Smart's argument why that would be a very good thing for Georgia and the SEC.
Sure.
Because, then they'd make more money and keep all the good players and steal all the good players.
Right. You don't like when the playing field is leveled, right? You don't. You don't like when
they don't want a level playing field.
They don't want a level playing field.
I mean, they want a level playing field with Alabama, but they don't want a level playing field with non-Power Four schools.
Correct.
That would be just silly.
Right.
Why would you play under the same rules when you have way more money than they
have
do?
More opportunity and more money and more resources.
The teams that have the money make the rules.
Correct.
They're going to make rules that benefit themselves.
That's life. That's life too.
They've also talked about expelling schools that don't sign that document, like Tennessee and
Vanderbilt. They want to get rid of Vanderbilt because they're not bringing in any money to the SEC. Vanderbilt's just this freeloader in the SEC in football. And they're going like, why do we have to pay them 1/16 of our television contract when they're bringing in 1/100th of the attention of a team like Alabama or Georgia or Auburn? So best result is we just kick them out.
Yeah, boot them.
I mean, if they want to stay in baseball, that's fine. They get a good baseball program, but that doesn't bring in any money.
No.
It's football and basketball, and they stink in both of those sports usually.
Well, now we go pro as quickly as that. Terry Bradshaw, not a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I thought you were saying
pursuit.
Terry Bradshaw, not a fan.
No, he's not a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers' prolonged pursuit of Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
He said earlier this week on 103.7 The Buzz in Arkansas, quote,
Good get for them. A really good get for them.
It's a joke. To me, it is a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
I'm doing that Friday, actually. I leave for Joshua Tree. I can't wait. You have no idea. Spiritual reset.
We've had some Terry Bradshaw discussions.
We've had Terry Bradshaw on the air, haven't we? We've had him on our show.
I
think we have.
Yeah, has the world passed him by a little bit?
He lost his fastball
I think so. Yeah, that's what teams do. They bring in quarterbacks for a year. This is not.
He's not a big Jacob deGrom guy.
This is not revolutionary territory. They need someone to play quarterback.
I don't get it, man.
I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but I can certainly see how he might help the Steelers for 1 year if they needed a quarterback and he wants to play. Then there's people who are mad that Aaron Rodgers is not at minicamp right now.
I saw OTAs.
He doesn't have a team. He doesn't sign with them. He doesn't. Probably this is why he hasn't signed, so he doesn't have to go to their OTAs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Look, if your favorite baseball player could skip spring training entirely, he would. Like there's no question. He'd go for a week, spring training week. If you got like 10-5, they're like, hey man, you get 10-5, and you can come for as long as you need to come to spring training. It's your call. You would see anybody with 10-5 be there 2 weeks. Max.
Whatever they think the minimum is to then not embarrass themselves once the season starts.
Or draw the massive ire
longer
of the fan base.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there would be the guy that didn't show up at all. Oh, I do my own training regimen. I do this and that at home, whatever. Fine. But if they had their choice, OTAs, voluntary mini camps, no, come on.
All right. So now to the fun stuff. Cooper's Hill in Gloucester, England, was alive with the smell of cheese once again.
So weird.
The Cooper's Hill cheese rolling and wake event was held yesterday to celebrate the UK's spring bank holiday. The event started way back in 1829 and involves a 7 to 9 pound roll of double Gloucester cheese and rolling it down a hill.
Yep.
A very steep hill, a 26.6 degree steep hill.
Okay.
The design is to catch the cheese before it gets to the bottom of the hill or to be the first one to the bottom of the hill. Injuries are very common, as you would imagine, and there were some spectacular spills this year.
This is like
of the guys running down the hill.
Running with the bulls, but it's running with the cheese.
Yeah. As Welsh Fryer points out,
Gloucester,
it's
sorry,
Gloucester.
my bad. I took a swing.
It's a lot of letters for a less pronunciation.
Gloucester.
Good cheese. Gloucester cheese is tasty. Welsh also, it is, yes. He also points out he lives very close to the cheese roll.
He was there
and has been to the cheese roll.
He went when they did it.
So I actually know about the cheese roll because this is a story that I have probably run on Channel 10 half a dozen times over the years. You think the water skiing squirrel is the traditional kicker? Yeah. The cheese roll is always the end of the show kicker story once a year. It's great video.
Like today.
Crazy people running down this steep hill, chasing after this roll of cheese, and then they all start tumbling and falling all over each other. It's like a bad skiing accident, except there's no skis. Like going down a mountain with no snow and no skis, but having the same kind of crashes down the way. So it's tremendous local TV video for the cheese roll.
So they're running after the cheese.
Yes.
I think a better way to do this.
They're trying to chase the cheese.
The cheese gets thrown off the hill,
and then they run down,
and then everyone runs after.
Right,
and then they're chasing the cheese. I think a better way to do it. You put everybody at the bottom, and you put a buttload of cheese,
lots of
cheeses at them, and then they have to dodge it, but you have to get to the top of the hill, and the cheese keeps coming. And they just more and more like a dump truck, and you think you've got it licked, and then another one, and you're dodging a bunch of cheese rolls.
This is more like when you were on Wipeout. This is what they do.
About it, I'll bring it up, dude. God, hate this. I would like that better. Now, watching them flail down the hill is incredible.
People running at full speed down a very steep hill
so steep.
Is dangerous, first of all, but it is tremendous video.
Yeah, Wells Fargo says no one ever catches it. It's the first down the hill 99% of the time. So honestly, would it behoove you to maybe go a little slower, to be a little more careful as you traverse down? You don't need to go full bore running down the hill because you're going to eat it. And like he said, his roommate did it. You're going to eat it. He said his roommate did it and broke his wrist doing it, chasing after the cheese. What do you do with the cheese when you get it? Just eat it?
I don't know. I mean, is that the first prize? Is you keep the cheese?
Damn it. I hate you for the Wipeout. There's people that don't know, and now they know. I hate you.
It has to be brought up once every year or so just to remind everybody. about Woods' appearance on the TV program.
Yes, I was
Wipeout.
on Wipeouts.
And he got to the finals.
In the finals, I went the wrong way on the Iron Mason. I broke my ankle and got a concussion and vomited. Thank you.
They needed to fit. How many minutes did you have? Like 29 minutes?
Yeah, I had all day to finish.
All day to finish. All they had to do was finish and win the $10,000.
Then you wouldn't have even made it close to the finals. Close.
I know.
Hate it. Like my great.
You have to let the Iron Mason carry you up.
I know, and I was going against the Iron Mason.
Against the flow of traffic on the Iron Mason.
It makes me want to die. When I think about it, I never bring it up. I'm in therapy because of it.
It's got caught up in the moment. That's all.
No, I drank a lot of pre-workout and had been up for like 18 straight hours. And my anxiety, Frank, was spiked. If you had a watch on me, my heart rate would have been 180. I mean, I was laying up there listening to everybody else go. And all I have to do is finish. I win $50,000. And you could hear my heart beating. And then they put you down a 200-foot water slide and then it shoots you out in the middle of nowhere. And you are out of your mind. Freezing cold water, dark
pool of water.
Swim to the Iron Mason and never made it.
Bright lights flashing all around you.
I got all the way to the top and I came all the way down, broke my ankle, hit the water, and they had to yank me out. It was horrible.
Just nobody put that link in the chat,
Please don't.
please.
You know what? I had to get picked apart at the game last night. They get picked apart now. Let me live today. Just do me a favor. If you like me even a little bit, just let me live.
Let
asking.
Woodsy have a day.
If you had won that money, your life might have turned out much differently. And you like how your life has turned out.
I would have burned through that so quick.
It was part of your journey. It was part of your journey. Frank, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. with Adam Klug on the board. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Early game today. Go Padres. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long.